Hey guys, hope everybody is doing well tonight. This was a kind of an unexpected, unplanned live stream tonight because I was going to do like I usually do and record a video and do a premiere so we could have chat. But to put it mildly or make a long story short, everything was a dumpster fire last night when I was trying to record the video. StreamYard kept crashing on me. The cats were running amok. I finally got, after I think the third time, I think I finally got it recorded. And then when I was rewatching it to make sure, everything was okay, it was horrible. The sound was horrible. So here we are. But another reason I wanted to do this live is because I think in the last time that I did a video premiere where we had chat, somebody made the comment, and I can't remember who it was, that we needed some time between the cases to stop and ask questions and chat and make comments. So we can do that tonight. And I'm glad to see everybody here. I put some of you guys' comments up during the intro. Chris Gidding is here. Always good to have Chris here. Mr. James Tate is here. Always good to have you here. My OG Michigan Wifey is here. How are you, dear? I hope you're doing good tonight. Miss Doris is here. Hello, Miss Doris. Good to have you here. We have a new name. Selective Detective True Crime Deductions. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. It's good to have new people in. And if you have a channel, anybody with a wrench here that can do it, I will definitely check out your channel. And oh, I thought somebody put Elfie. Okay, sorry, I was trying to read chat. But welcome, a Selective Detective. It's good to have you here. If you don't mind, you can tell us how you found us. If not, that's fine. No matter how you got here, we are glad you're here. Most definitely. And I'm about to die. It's so hot in here. I should have put my hair up, but anyway, that is summer in Arkansas. The temperatures went back up today. The humidity went back up today. It's supposed to be worse the rest of the week. Looks like after over 50 years of living here, I would be used to it. But I think the older I get, I can't take the heat or the cold anymore. I've become a wimp in my older age. All right, see if anybody. There's Miss Jocelyn. Hello, lady. Good to see you. She says, just stop by to say hello, getting ready to head into work. Have a great show. I'll watch the replay. Absolutely, ma'am. You have a good night at work. It's always good to see Miss Jocelyn. I'll get everybody. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, excellent. Selective Detective says, was just scrolling for new creators. Well, thank you for choosing to drop in and hang out with us and spend some time with us tonight. I'm going to share this is my Missing Person Monday video for anybody else who may be new here or watching replay. Every week I do a Missing Person Monday. Like I said, I usually do a video and do a video premiere and have chat, but since everything went into a dumpster fire last night, I decided this is my choice, is to do a live stream. But once again, we are glad to have you here. All right, make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right, I think I'm caught up. Get my slideshow up here. All right, so I've been trying to make my way the last few Missing Person Monday episodes or videos I've done is to start making my way through state by state. Of course, being from Arkansas, I started because on the Charley Project, which is where I get the basic information for the cases or the missing that I share, it has you can go in and select by geographical area. So being from Arkansas, I started with the South, and then I'm going to try to work my way through all the states and have at least one show dedicated to each state and feature 5, 6, 7, missing from each state. So tonight is South Carolina. Last week was North Carolina, so now we're going to South Carolina. And I think I just lost my train of thought as usual. Anyway, South Carolina, and I think I have. Oh yeah, I usually do. I think 6 cases. I think I had 7 tonight. Excellent. Selective Detective says that my ears are perked. I do investigative podcasting, and this is a brand new channel. So anyone covering missing persons gets my highest respect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. It's always an honor for me, for a small channel like mine, when other creators come in and to check us out and see what we're all about. We have a wonderful community here. When I forgot to put my 1 minute. I always forget to put my little ticker thing up. There it is. Okay. It's always good to have other creators come in or pop in, listen. And I try to, I love watching other creators. We have a nice, safe community here. We don't victim bash. We don't family bash. We respect each other's opinions. Just do our best to get this information out and to share it and talk about it and discuss it, to try to do our little part here on our little community here to try to get the word out, maybe help bring some resolution at some point. So you have my utmost respect too for doing what you do. Absolutely. Thank you. Chris said he subscribed to Selective Detective. Yeah, if I could, afraid if I try to go out and do it, I would put the but anybody who wants to subscribe, I think if you're on the YouTube, because I'm on the StreamYard side, but if you're on the YouTube side, I think you can just click on, if I remember correctly, you can just click on the name, and it'll have you an option that says go to channel, and you can go and you can check it out and subscribe. Uh-oh. I'm trying to get caught up in the comments. Detective said one of your channels got canceled. Oh my goodness. That sucks, to put it mildly. It is what it is. I don't choose a narrative and do my own thing, and people don't like that. Hey, you do you. That's all I say. I mean, I hate that you had a 4,000 subscriber channel that got canceled. That's horrible. That is horrible. Yep. Anyone with Michigan Wifey says, I just might like you with that attitude. Absolutely. Yep. All righty. We will get started because I think I've got caught up again, and hopefully my farm signal, as I call it, will hold out tonight. So first we have Shakeima and Cabbagestalk, and Shakeima went missing on July 22nd, 1993, from Dillon, South Carolina. She's a Black female. She was just 10 years old when she went missing. She will be 41 years old today. When she went missing, she was 3 foot 6 inches tall and 65 pounds. Black hair and brown eyes. She has moles near the corner of her mouth and below her neck, and she had a double tooth on the upper side of her mouth at the time of her disappearance. Shakeima was last seen in Dillon on July 22nd, 1993. Her stepfather, Sam Harmon, was the last person to see her. And that small, on the side there, you see those 2 smaller inset pictures. The one on the right is Sam Harmon. He left with her to go to the Turning Point grocery store on South First Avenue. He says that he left both Shameika and her brother at the store, but apparently the brother made it back, but Shakeima was never heard from again. So red flags already. I see, yep, Chris has already got the red flags up. Absolutely. Yep. Red flag, lots of red flags in this one, or in most of them. So there's a lot to unpack with this. So in August of 2005, which was 12 years after Shakeima disappeared, Harmon was charged with homicide, 2 counts of kidnapping, and criminal SA conduct with a minor in connection with Shakeima's case. Now, prosecutors originally sought the DP against him, but they later stopped pursuing that and went with life in prison instead. And they also decided not to pursue the SA charges. So in 1992, which was about a year before Shakeima went missing, she had accused Sam Harmon, her stepfather, of touching her inappropriately. The State Department of Social Services investigated the claims. They said her story had changed several times and that there was no evidence to support it. So no charges were filed against Harmon, and investigators theorized that Shakeima's allegations against Harmon may have given him the motive to take her life. So in his trial, he had a trial in October of 2008, and several of Shakeima's relatives did testify at that trial. Her uncle said that 2 weeks before Shakeima disappeared, Sam Harmon had told him about ways that he could, quote, dispose of a body. So more red flags. Prosecutors said that Shakeima was very close to her brother and her grandmother, and that she would have contacted them if she could have. There was no physical evidence to indicate that she was deceased. Harmon, of course, maintained his innocence in her disappearance. He was acquitted of the homicide, but he was convicted of kidnapping and sentenced to 12 years in prison. And it says he was eligible for parole in 2011. And when I was doing my research, because always, besides the basic information that I use from the Charley Project, I always try to find some additional information, interviews with parents or family members, or any newer developments. And when I was checking on to see about his parole, I couldn't find anything recent. So hopefully, in my opinion, he is still in prison. So obviously, foul play is suspected in Shakeima's case due to the circumstances involved. But apparently, several of her relatives believe that she may still be alive, but yet her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, call the Dillon Police Department at 843-841-3707. Let me check comments quickly so I won't get too far behind. I see some people have snuck in on me. Miss Farq is here. Good to have you here, all the way from Australia. Good to have you here, my dear. And if y'all have any, if you're watching live now in chat, or if you're watching replay in comments, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments on any of these cases, just pop them in, and I will pause from time to time, and I'm gonna try to stay caught up in comments, questions, and get them up there for you. Yeah, absolutely. Selective Detective says, I was about to say that has to be the motive. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That would be my guess too. And I'm not a professional, but I like to think I have a little bit of common sense and try to use my critical thinking skills when trying to figure out what could have happened, what could be motive. Yes, Chris, absolutely. Chris says Sam sounds like a bad guy. Yes, he definitely a bad guy. Absolutely. Absolutely a horrible, in my opinion, a horrible human being. Right, so I did have an article with a little bit of information, more information. Hopefully, won't take long. Oh, it popped right up. So this is from, this article is from May of 2008, and it was 15 years after Shakeima went missing. And it says it's been more than a decade, but a Dillon family is not giving up hope that one of their own will come home safely. Sorry if that was loud. Anyway, Shakeima Cabbagestalk has been missing since the summer of 1993. News Channel 15's Lindsay Tyner spoke with an aunt Sunday about the girl's mysterious disappearance. She says, when I think about it so long, tears begin to want to bubble up. Shakeima has been gone for 15 years now, but the time has not eased the pain or the questions. And I don't think any amount of time can ever, of course, never completely, the pain and the questions won't ever go away. You know, hopefully, at least if they get, you know, some families get answers, they may get a little bit of closure, you know, but it's definitely. Cabbagestalk going to say a fear or wondering what or how it would have happened. In 2005, a 12 years after Shakeema's disappearance, as I said a while ago, police did charge Sam Harmon, which was her boyfriend, with her kidnapping, SA, and homicide. But Shakeema's body was never found, and News Channel 15 spoke with several family members who said that they think that she is still alive, and her aunt agrees. Her aunt said, I'm hoping that they will find her. The family believes that Sam Harmon has something with her disappearance. They think that her body would have been found now if he had taken her life. I think that was it in that, but I just wanted to get that little bit of information there about her family members thinking that she possibly could still be alive. Sorry, I'm having trouble using my words tonight. So what do you guys think? Yes, no, maybe on if she. I mean, I'm back. I should not have said anything about my. I get a slideshow back up. Sorry, guys. Once again, my farm's still pooping out on me. Let's see if I can get everything going again. Read some of you guys' comments. Oh, Dave is here. It'll come up. Hey, Dave. Dave said he is checking in before work. Absolutely. Thank you, my friend Dave. Be careful out there. I don't know why that's not coming up. Be careful out there, Dave, working and driving and listening. It's always good to have Dave here. Dave also has an excellent channel, so please do check him out. But you have to be a night owl or an early bird to catch Dave's live streams, because he usually does a live stream once a week, very, very early, or however you want to look at it, late Saturday night. I don't know how much, I don't know how long it's going to hold out, guys. I apologize. StreamYard is either my connection or StreamYard or both is very, very sketchy tonight. See if anybody else snuck in. Yes. Chris says the amount of time that she's been missing is a red flag in itself. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Oh, now I got to get my slideshow back. Oh, goodness. This is dumpster fire, dumpster fire. There we go. Let me get to the right slide. All right. Next, we have Tawanda Denise Cheatham. Tawanda went missing on August 11th, 1989 from Aiken, South Carolina. She's a Black female. She was just 8 years old at the time she disappeared. She will be 43 years old today. At the time she went missing, she was 4'1", 70 pounds. She was last seen wearing a white shirt, red flower print shorts, and white sneakers, or a red t-shirt with Tom on the back in white letters, white pants or shorts, and sneakers. She has black hair and brown eyes. And some accounts have her name, her first name different, spelled differently, pronounced differently, anything from Tawana to Talana. She wore her hair in a ponytail or braids at the time of her disappearance, and she has dark skin coloration on either her left arm or her left leg. So Tawanda was last seen in her hometown of Aiken, South Carolina on August 11th, 1989. She resided with her parents in the Balltown area on Jack Jones Street near Highway 19. She was visiting relatives at the time of her disappearance. She apparently became angry when her mother told her that she had to come home. So Tawanda took some spare change from a jar in her mother's kitchen and left the house. Now, she was last seen by two neighbors at around 5:30 p.m. at a quick stop convenience store, which was a few blocks from her home. But after that, she was never seen or heard from again. So 2 weeks, I find this interesting. Not in a good way interesting, just, red flaggy interesting. So 2 weeks after Tawanda disappeared, her grandmother was arrested and charged with obstructing justice in her case. But police said that the grandmother wasn't a suspect in her disappearance. She apparently had lied to them, they say, many times, and she may have been trying to cover up what happened. So I don't know exactly what they mean about that. I did do research and try to find some articles that elaborated a little bit on what they meant by lie to them and what about, but I could, unfortunately, in a lot of these cases, especially the older ones, there's not a whole lot of articles because I do deep dive searches, many pages into Google searches, and there's just unfortunately just not a lot of additional information aside from what I find on the Charley Project. But at any rate, so Tawanda's grandmother was arrested, charged with obstructing because the police said that she lied to them and may have been trying to cover up what actually happened to Tawanda. Investigators have looked into the possibility that Tawanda is living with a relative. So I'm assuming that may be what the grandmother, if they said that she was lying to them about something that might have been related. But they said those theories have not produced any leads, and they basically set those aside and not really followed up on them. Or they probably followed up on them as far as whatever leads they had, and it didn't lead them to anything. So this is another thing that's disturbing. So she was only 8 years old, but it said that she had a history of running away from the family's residence. So, we all know kids run away, but it's usually teenagers, maybe starting around 12, 13, 14. You wouldn't normally expect an 8-year-old, or at least I wouldn't, normally expect an 8-year-old to have run away on numerous times. So it makes me wonder if something was going on within the household, or something was going on to make her not want to be in that house. Now, I'm not by any means saying that family members or anything had anything to do with anything, but I just found it very, very odd, very disturbing that at 8 years old, it said that she had a history of running away. But they say it is not clear what happened to cause her disappearance, obviously, but they do say that she may have been abducted. She was an honor roll student at North Aiken Elementary School in 1989. Her case obviously is unsolved. So if you have any information into Wanda's case, you can contact the Aiken County Sheriff's Office at 803-642-1761. All right, let me get caught up in comments again. See if anybody is. Get back down to where I was at. Okay, I got Dave. Dave was here. It's good to see you too, Dave. Dave said it was good to see us all. It's always good to see Dave, our resident out on the prowl. Oh, thank you. Dave said I was doing fine. I'm just doing that. I'm winging it here with my little horse and pony show. You know how my signal is, Dave, my farm signal. Oh, thank you, Michigan Wifey. We love you too, dear. Thank you, Chris. Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, Chris said we'll always support you and watch your live stream. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm not fancy. For anybody new here that's the first time watching, I use my phone to go through StreamYard. I use my Wi-Fi hotspot to run my laptop, and because we don't have Wi-Fi out here in the country. So it's, what you see is what you get. So I do the best with what I've got to work with, and we give it our best shot. Usually it's okay. Sometimes it does go into a big dumpster fire, but hopefully it'll hold out. Oh, there is Miss Barbara Hall. Hello, Miss Barbara. Always good to have Miss Barbara here. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to maybe at the end, stick around to the end, or if you're watching on replay, at the end, I might have go ahead and divulge some very exciting news about an upcoming live stream for the end of this week. But it's always good to have Miss Barbara Hall here. If you don't know who Miss Barbara Hall is, Miss Barbara is, and Mr. James is here too, but Miss Barbara is Timmy D's mother. And if you see down on my scroll, it says Justice for Timmy D's. If you don't know about Timmy's case, I do have a playlist on my channel of deep dive live streams and shorter videos I've done on Timmy's case. Arctic Fox True Crime, another great channel, has done great work on Timmy's case. So Miss Barbara, like I said, Miss Barbara is Timmy's mother, and Mr. James is also in the family, if he's still here. Mr. James Tate, Miss Marion Tate. I haven't seen her in here, but she is Timmy's aunt. So just keep the whole family in your thoughts and prayers. And hopefully soon, Timmy will be getting justice. The whole family will be getting justice. So it's always good to have Miss Barb here. Always good to have Miss PJ here. Hello, welcome. Another excellent channel. And you can find all these links to these channels, to most of them. I know I have Miss PJ's in there, and Dave's is in there. And I got to go back. I've got to go add some other ones in. But you can go to the homepage of my channel and scroll down to where it says "Visit Our Friends," and all those links there are excellent channels, very good channels, very good creators who do it for the right reasons. No drama, no baiting, no. They're on the up and up, and so please do go check them out. So we get caught up, and then we will move on to the next one while my signal is holding up. Try to make it through all of it Yes, absolutely. Chris says the thing that she's a recurring runaway makes me sad. Yes, it makes me sad and very concerned because like I said, and I'm not, like I said a while ago, I'm not in any way blaming family or saying something's going on, but there has to be a reason that an 8-year-old child would be a recurring runaway from a home. I mean, that is, in my opinion, that is just very, very young for a child to be running away repeatedly at just 8 years old. So it just makes me wonder and worry about what was making her run away at such a young age. I don't understand. There had to be something. Something. It is, yes, definitely most sad. And yeah, Michigan Wifey says there was something going on with that baby. Grandma knows info, in my opinion. That's possible because, like in the information, it said that the grandmother was charged with what did I say? Obstructed. Can't use my words tonight as usual. Obstructing justice or obstructing a case, and the police said that she had lied to them repeatedly about something. So I'm in agreement with you there. I think there's something was going on. Something was going on, in my opinion. Yep. Chris says other family members or others might know more about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Doodlebug is here. Hello, hello, welcome. Doodlebug's channel is definitely in my friends list that I was telling you guys about. So definitely check out Miss Doodlebug. She's another one of our favorites. Excellent creator. Puts out lots and lots of missing person videos and shorts. Between her and Arctic Fox True Crime, who is also in the link is in the list too. I can't keep up with keeping up watching all their videos and shorts that they do for all these missing persons. They do excellent, excellent work. All right, I think I'm caught up. So next, I should have brought the information up. We have Elizabeth and DeLuca J. Crawford. And Elizabeth went missing on July 16, 1986 from Simpsonville, South Carolina. She was a white female. She was 34 years old at the time she went missing. She'll be 72 today. At the time she went missing, she was 5'2" to 5'6", 120 to 130 pounds. She was last seen wearing a white tank top, white shorts and sandals, and carrying a white purse. It says that she had been taking antidepressant medication at the time of her disappearance. She had brown hair and hazel eyes. She did have either a hysterectomy or an appendectomy scar on her abdomen. She had 2 moles on the left side of her face. Her ears were pierced. It says her upper left front tooth is slightly darker than the other teeth. Her hair was frosted blonde at the time of her disappearance. Her nickname was Libby, and she may also have used the last name of Jones. So Elizabeth received a phone call from an unidentified man, they said, with a deep voice on July 16th, 1986 at her residence, which was at Cherrywood Mobile Home Park, which was in the 100 block of Cherrywood Park in Simpsonville. So she told her son that she was going to visit a friend at around 10:30 p.m. And this was shortly after the phone call ended. And so she left and she never returned home. Elizabeth's friends told authorities, or the friend that she told her son that she wanted to visit. Friend told her that Elizabeth never arrived at her residence. So after she left the house to go visit the friend, she never arrived there. 2 witnesses believe that they did see her with an unidentified white male, possibly the unidentified man that she had the phone conversation with. I'm just going on assumptions, thinking here, trying to put 2 and 2 together and see if they add up to 3 or 4. So, until oh my goodness. It won't do anything. I'm getting any comments. Chris says Elizabeth Crawford appearance is a red flag. Yes, absolutely. Still telling me that I have no slides. Ah. Let me know if you can because I'm not getting anything to work right now. All right. Can y'all hear me? I know you can't see me right now. I have my cam off, but can you see me or hear me? Michigan Wifey says I get a do-over. Oh, Lord. First it was telling me I didn't have any slides, and now all right. Good. Okay. Far says we can hear you, and now you should be able to see me. I turned my cam back on. Oh, goodness. Oh, we got a new name. Jet Pet 9000. Welcome. Good to have you here. Always good to have new faces and new names here. Welcome. If you would like, you can tell us how you found us. If not, that's okay. However you found us, we are glad that you are here. Absolutely. Let me, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Okay, let me see if I can get, oh, goodness, get my StreamYard back up on my laptop because it's so much easier to control things, the StreamYard. On the StreamYard, but I can, I set myself in a laptop and control things from there, and just easier to go through the slides on the laptop and comments. But if I can get it to come up on the laptop, I'll just do everything from my phone. If my phone will hold out. I begin to think a lot of it is StreamYard too. StreamYard has been extremely sketchy lately. So I'm trying to get let's see if I can get to the right slide. So we were on, is this one we were on, Elizabeth? I think that's the one we was on. All right, so I'm going to shut that down. All right, so I'm just going to wing it. Okay, so we're on Elizabeth. I think we're down to the part where they said that two witnesses believe that they saw her with an unidentified white male outside the Ingalls in Simpsonville on July 18th, which is 2 days after she was last seen on the 16th after the phone call with the unidentified male. And she was never heard from or seen after that, after the 18th. Her burgundy and white or blue and white two-door 1978 Chevy Malibu was found abandoned at the Fountain Inn parking lot of Georgia Street in Simpson. In Simpsonville, and it was in front of the Wilson Sporting Goods. And it says this was just about 6 miles from where she was last seen. Now, the vehicle had been wiped clean of prints, and the driver's seat was pushed all the way back. And it said that Elizabeth drove with it pushed all the way forward, because I believe she was short. Yeah, 5'2" to 5'6". So that would, just using logic, we could all assume that if she drove it with the seat pushed all the way forward, if it was pushed all the way back, that would lead me to believe that somebody else put the car there. So at the time that she disappeared, Elizabeth was dealing with financial problems and may have been depressed. Since she went missing, there hasn't been any activity on her social security number, and she was working as a weaver at the Beatty plant when she went missing. She enjoyed drawing and ballroom dancing. Her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information on Elizabeth's case, you can call the Simpsonville Police Department at 864-967-9536. Get caught up in comments. Oh, thank you so much. JetPet says, I'm often listening to your stream. I'm just not usually in chat. I think your channel is very informative, interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you here. Absolutely. Absolutely. And usually, well, I say usually things aren't this much of a dumpster fire. Like I said, I guess between my farm signal and StreamYard being, sorry, I know you can probably hear that, being extremely sketchy lately, It's been a little bit worse than it usually is. All right, I think I do have. I'm gonna see one more time. Just see if StreamYard will come up. I'm just gonna let it roll. I do believe I have an article with some additional information on Elizabeth. If it'll come up. Maybe. Nice to see you too. Oh, I don't come up yet. Jeff says, hi, you know, wonderful. Really happy here. All right, so a little bit of additional information on Elizabeth's case. This article is from October 2021. Okay, call me on. Okay. It says Elizabeth Crawford, an ambitious, free-spirited, outgoing woman. Her son David says, my mother did not know a stranger. She was an outgoing person and loved people. Dot Humphrey, who was Elizabeth's sister, calls her Libby, loved art, working, ballroom dancing. She says Libby was a stronger woman. She did not let anyone walk on her, called. She spoke her mind more than I ever could. It's been far too long since one heard Libby speak her mind. Libby Crawford went missing from the small town of Simpsonville, South Carolina in 1986. She had just left her house, going to a friend's house, as we talked about. Dot recalled the days when she and her sister would talk all the time because they were see if it let me bring my slides back up. Yep. Hold on. Maybe it'll bring them up. I'll just keep reading until it brings it back up. Once again, I apologize. There we go. Let's see if I can get on the right slide. I think I'm going backwards. There we go. All right. That should be the right one. Okay. Once again, my apologies. Dot recalled the days when her sister would talk all the time because they were close. They told each other everything. Libby also kept a diary and wrote all of her thoughts in it, even some things that she never told her sister. Libby had two sons, Frankie and David. Now, apparently, David lived with his grandmother at the time that Elizabeth disappeared, and Frankie lived with Libby, with Elizabeth. David said Frankie was the golden child and I was the troubled child. And when she went missing, David had just turned 14 and Frankie was 17. Libby, as we said earlier, was living in the Cherrywood Mobile Home Park. She received the phone call and told her son that she was going to visit her friend. She never arrived. Dot, her sister, says Thursday, the day she went missing, I was working. The first time I called, her son, Frankie, answered that she was at the store. But when she called back the next day, Frankie said that she actually hadn't been home since Wednesday, and Dot knew that something was wrong. Her car, the Chevy Malibu, was found abandoned. We talked about that. Dot, like we talked about also, said that she found it odd that the windows were down in the car, the front seat was pushed all the way back. She said that was odd because Libby was short and drove it with the seat pushed all the way forward. Another very interesting, disturbing thing, no fingerprints were found in the car, not even Libby's. Her finger, so evidently somebody had wiped it down, wiped it clean. And all that was found in the car were kitchen utensils. Very odd. Don't know about the kitchen utensils. I don't know if that would be normal for her to have kitchen utensils in her car. Libby and her dance partner had been getting ready to perform on the show Dance Fever. I remember that show from back in the day. According to David, but Libby never got the chance to dance on the show. After his mother disappeared, David moved to Myrtle Beach. He said that it was easier to not be reminded of his mother. He said you can either be sad or persevere, and I chose to persevere. Just always, obviously, feel so, because aside from the missing, you also have the victims, the family members are victims also that have to live without their loved one and wonder what happened to them, where they're at, if they're okay. It's just, I can't imagine how hard it would be. So David said he remembers going through the milestones of his graduation, the birth of his first child, and his child's graduation. He said those were some of the hardest times to be without his mother. He has had to accept what the relationship was with his mother and move on with the good memories he has of her. So that statement kind of makes me think they might not have had the closest of relationships, but that's just a pure speculation on my part. But I have no doubt that she loved him, he loved her, have that mother and child bond. He says, I gave her more trouble than the law could allow, but she still did everything she could because she loved me. There have never been additional leads or suspects linked to Elizabeth's disappearance, although police do suspect foul play, and her family still hopes to get answers. David said, trust your gut instinct always. It is mostly never wrong. In the meantime, the family remembers her as the loving, kind-hearted person she was, and they keep her as close to their hearts as she kept them. So once again, if anybody has any information on Elizabeth's case, contact the Simpsonville Police Department at 864-967-9536. I apologize if I'm leaning close to the camera, but I gave up on StreamYard all night, because whenever I turned to StreamYard, tried to get StreamYard back on my laptop, that's when it went off my phone. So I'm just not even going to mess with it on the laptop. So hopefully it'll stay up on my phone and we can make it through this. So Mom will be reading your comments off the screen, so I have to lean in a little bit. Excellent. Dave said he is back listening and driving. Good to have you back, Dave. Be careful out there driving. Absolutely. Chris says the wiping everything clean suggests that someone who was scared of Prince being left behind is a very scary person. Absolutely. And it may be that this person, whoever did it, if he was afraid. So, well, let's see, this was back in what, 80, 86, did I say? But they still had fingerprint. Yeah, 86. Forensics wasn't obviously as advanced as it is today, but they could still do fingerprints. My Southern is coming out really bad tonight. They could still check fingerprints, so possibly he had whoever did it had offended before and maybe knew that his fingerprints were on record, and if they found the fingerprints, they would match it to him. I'm just assuming him. Or just as Chris said, he was very scary and had done it before, maybe hadn't got caught, and that was the reason that whoever did it hadn't got caught, because they took the time to wipe everything clean, leave no evidence, no DNA which, like I said, 86 DNA, but definitely not leave fingerprints or anything of that nature. So yes, I agree. Very, very scary person. Absolutely. All right. Next, we have, find the information. Eva DeBruhl. Lot in this case. So Eva went missing on June 29th, 1977. So very old, cold case. from Catawba. I'm trying not to butcher these names. Catawba, South Carolina. She was 15 years old. She would be 62 years old today. At the time she disappeared, she was 5'1" to 5'2", 105 pounds. She was last seen wearing a pink floral print sweater, a light blue floral print shorts, and no socks or shoes. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. It says her middle name may be spelled differently, either Jurlyn or Jerline by some agencies, and she wore glasses. So Eva was last seen at her residence in Catawba on June 29th, 1977. She had mowed the lawn, and then she went inside to make some iced tea. She told her father that he had been called in to go to work, and he left just after 11 a.m. Eva's mother, she worked a night shift, so she was asleep at that time. But when she woke up around noon, Eva was gone. And after that, she was never been seen or heard from again. They did find the pot of iced tea and a glass were found undisturbed in the house. The television had been turned on, and Eva's flip-flops were found on the front lawn. So that's very interesting. And none of her clothes or other belongings were missing except for her glasses. So you'd assume, obviously, that she was wearing them at the time. Now, Eva's grandmother lived near the family's home in 1977 when Eva disappeared. The grandmother stated that on the morning that Eva went missing, she saw a late model blue and white or green and white Jeep type vehicle drive up to the house, to their house, and stop by the front door. She said a man got out, went up and stood on the front porch, and he appeared to be talking to someone through the screen door. Now, the grandmother assumed that this man was talking to Eva's father about fixing a car, because apparently Eva's father was a mechanic. So it wasn't unusual for people to come by and talk about him working on vehicles. But at the time that this man came up and walked up to the front screen door, Eva's father had already left to go to work. So the man, after the grandmother saw him at the front door, the grandmother says the man drove away, but he returned 10 or 15 minutes later. And when he returned the second time, the grandmother didn't notice whether he stopped or not, or just drove by. She didn't hear any suspicious noises, and she did not see Eva get into the car. The man driving the car has never been identified, and it is unclear whether he had any connection to Eva's case. It could have been it was somebody that had come to maybe talk to her father about fixing a vehicle, and she just came to the door and said, Dad's not here right now, he's at work. But it makes me, though, in the back of my mind, that why would he come back 10 or 15 minutes later? Why would the same vehicle come back? That's the only thing with that. So the man driving the vehicle was described as a white male of medium height and build, and he was wearing a light green shirt and dark green pants. So this is a case. Henry Lee Lucas. Anybody who follows true crime has probably heard of Henry Lee Lucas. He did confess to taking Eva's life, but once again, have to take it with a grain of salt. So I'm not going to go too much to give some information about Henry Lee Lucas, but he is also considered a possible suspect in the disappearances of several young ladies, and also a married couple, John and Faye Watley. He was convicted of the 1979 homicide of an unidentified female in Texas, and he was sentenced to the DP. It was later commuted down to life in prison. He later passed away in prison. So that's enough about Henry Lee Lucas. So Eva is described as shy and deeply religious. She was a member of the Providence Baptist Church. She sang in the choir there. She graduated from Castle Heights Junior High School prior to her disappearance, and she was looking forward to attending Rock Hill High School in the fall of 1977. Her family stated that she was well behaved. She earned pocket money by babysitting. She had no boyfriends, and she always kept her mother informed of her whereabouts. So her father is deceased. Her mother and her two sisters are still alive, and they continue to search for her. Foul play obviously is suspected in her case. So if you have any information regarding Eva's case, you can contact the York County Sheriff's Department at 803-628-3059. And let me get caught up in comments again. Miss Michelle C is here. Hello, Michelle, one of my wonderful friends and mods. Good to have you here, Michelle. Yep, definitely lots. Yeah, definitely red flags. Chris says Eva's case is a very long time. Is a red flag. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, you could kind of explain away this man in the vehicle that the grandmother saw going up to the door. Like I said, possible that it was somebody wanting to talk to her dad. She said, my dad's not here, but why would he come back? Why would he come back? That's just, that bothers me that he comes back. Yes, Chris says, I think Eva could have been taken by an unknown person or someone who was familiar with the family. Yes, and I do have an article, I believe it is this case, that mentions that very thing. So excellent observation. All right, I think I'm caught up in comments. Let me find the article. Get a little drink. I'll turn my cam off for just a minute while I'm reading. And so this article is from April of 2010, and it is from the Nancy Grace's Cold Cases section of CNN.com. And it says Eva DeBruhl, 15, was last seen nearly 33 years ago, cutting the front lawn of her family's home in Rock Hill, South Carolina, with a push mower. Anybody remember push mowers? I remember my grandparents had a push mower when we were kids. Tammy Settlemeyer, who is Eva's sister, says Eva loved to cut grass, as we both did. There was just something about cutting grass that we both enjoyed. But Eva wasn't at the door to greet her sister when she came, or the sister wasn't at home to greet her sister when she came home from her summer job at the local textile mill late in the afternoon of June 29th, 1977. She had missed lunch with her grandmother, who lived in another house on the family's 9-acre spread of land. And DeBruhl's, Eva's best friend's family had not seen her either. Fear and panic quickly set in as the family realized that Eva was nowhere to be found. Her sister describes Eva as precious. She loved children and singing in the church choir, and she could recite from the Bible. Her sister said she was so sweet and innocent. Police did search the property, and Eva's family, friends, and neighbors joined forces to look for her. Soon, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. But we never stopped looking, her sister said. Eva's father quit his job, devoting himself to the search. Her parents sold their house that fall to pay for a private investigator. Her sister said, Eva was the baby of our family, and we treated her like that. My parents were just heartbroken. And unfortunately, this was the family's second tragedy, because 4 years earlier, a drunk driver had taken the life of Eva's 11-year-old brother in front of the house as he and a friend walked to a church playground to play basketball. To this day, police have had few clues to follow in Eva's disappearance. There was no sign of forced entry to the house. And going back to the point that Chris brought up, Police told the family that whoever may have taken Eva knew their home and their schedule. So that's why I said that Chris had said she could have been taken by an unknown person or someone who was familiar with the family. I remember that statement from this article that said the police said that whoever may have taken her knew the home, knew the schedule, knew the family. Eva's grandmother, as we said earlier, she talked about seeing this blue or green truck drive up. The man got out. The grandma said that she didn't get a good look at him because he had his back to her. This was according to a police report. The vehicle drove off, returned about 10 minutes later, and the grandmother could not see who was in it. She says she didn't pay a lot of attention because also we mentioned that Eva's father repaired automobiles and strangers would often visit to have work done. The truck and the man were never located. And that says another potential clue was a Coke bottle that Eva's father found in the yard close to where the truck had pulled over. The bottle was made in Georgia, indicating that whoever dropped it may have been from out of state. A Coca-Cola bottling plant in Rock Hill served South and North Carolina, according to Eva's sister. Yet the bottle was not dusted for fingerprints. So going back to, said the car. Oh no, that was the last case. Never mind, get my cases mixed up. But at any rate, they did not dust the bottle for fingerprints. Over the years, Eva's family was approached, and this just infuriates me, but we see it happen so many times in these missing person cases. Over the years, Eva's family was approached by people who demanded money for information on the teen's whereabouts. But in a sting operation, Eva's mother met one man who had wanted $15,000. Police did arrest him. He was convicted of extortion. So good on her for that. It says more than once, Eva's parents were called to the medical examiner's office in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, to view unidentified remains, but none of them were ever Eva's. Like we talked about earlier, at one point in the investigation, it was believed that Henry Lee Lucas, he confessed or said that he was the one who took Eva. They say that he may have been in the area at around the time that Eva disappeared. So a sheriff's representative and Eva's father did go to Texas in the 1980s when Henry Lee Lucas was arrested there. Lucas said that he could not recall whether he took somebody's life in that area or even whether he had even been in the area at the time. Years ago, one sheriff's investigator was so involved in the case that he worked it on his off days. He did searching, digging, looking for hard-to-find clues. The current lead investigator, Captain Jerry Hoffman of the York County Sheriff's Office, says he has a case file on Eva the size of a banker's box. Following up on this tip, police did dig up a well at the property once owned by the family. In other searches, cadaver dogs found nothing. A forensic psychologist was brought in to use hypnotism on one person who was interviewed. And I'm wondering if it maybe that wasn't the grandmother, since she was the one who saw this man in the truck pull up twice. So maybe they tried to hypnotize the grandmother to see if she could remember any more details. Hoffman said this one is a little more frustrating. Settlemeyer says she knows that somebody out there knows exactly what happened to Eva. And once again, she was 5'1", 105 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She wore glasses. Last seen in blue shorts and a yellow blouse. Settlemeyer believes that her sister is deceased, but still speaks of hope when asked about the case. She says, all we want and all we have ever wanted is closure. We have already forgiven that person. We know that person will have another judge that will give them the punishment they need. Absolutely. So once again, anyone with more information or any information on Eva's case is asked to call the York County Sheriff's Office at 628-3059, or Nickmack at 1-800-THE-LOST. Get caught up in comments right quick, and then we will there's Mr. James Tate. Hello. James says, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for everything you do. For everyone else, thank you for everything you do. God bless. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. It's always good to have Mr. James here. All right. Sorry, I always forget to turn my camera back on. All right, next we have it's hard to see my slides on on my phone, but I believe it is Dail Dinwiddie. Dail went missing on September 24th, 1992 from Columbia, South Carolina. She's a white female. She was 23 years old at the time she disappeared. She will be 55 years old today, so just a little bit older than me. At the time she disappeared, she was 5 foot, 96 pounds. She was last seen wearing a long-sleeved olive green pullover shirt, a bright blue nylon LL Bean jacket tied around her waist, faded blue jeans, and either brown boots or new white Nike sneakers with a blue stripe. She did have severe asthma and allergies. She required twice weekly injections, and she did use an inhaler, and she may not have had her inhaler with her when she disappeared. She had light brown hair and brown eyes. She had pierced ears. She had dimples, blonde highlights in her hair. And it says that one finger on each of her hands is deformed and it is slightly curved. So Dail disappeared. The night she disappeared, she attended a U2 concert in Columbia with friends on September 23rd, 1992. The concert ended around 11:15 p.m. After that, she and her group of friends stopped at Jungle Gyms, which is a nightclub in the 5 Points area of Columbia. Dail was last seen at approximately 1:30 a.m. on that morning of September 24th by an employee of the club. Her friends had lost track of her at the club. They assumed that she had found a ride home, and her friends left at approximately 1 a.m. Dail apparently spoke to the bouncer at the club for around 15 minutes before walking out of the door between 1:15 and 1:30 a.m. She was last seen walking north on Hardin Street, and apparently she left her purse behind at the club, and after that, she was never seen again. So around 6:15 a.m. is when she was discovered that she was missing. When her father saw that the lights and the radio were on in her room, her bed had not been slept in. He called all of her friends, and none of them knew where she was. So he reported her missing at around 8:30 a.m. And one of the rare cases that the Columbia police did treat her disappearance as a kidnapping instead of going immediately to, either a runaway or, she's 23 years old, she's an adult, she can do what she wants. But they immediately treated it as a kidnapping. Since everyone who knew her said it would be very uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning. She was described as a very cautious person who did not like to be out alone. So investigators are probing the possibility that Ronaldo Javier Ray Rivera was involved in Dail's disappearance. And if you see that smaller inset picture there, that is a picture of Ray Rivera. So Rivera did admit to taking the lives of 4 women in Georgia, but he is a suspect in many more homicides. So this is another bad dude. He was charged with one homicide in 2000, and actually that victim was a police officer. So extra bad dude, in my opinion. He was a resident of Columbia at the time. He was a student at the University of South Carolina in 1992, and the university is located near the Five Points area where Dail was last seen. And apparently investigators are also investigating whether he was involved in another disappearance in 1999, the disappearance of Paula Merchant from South Carolina. He was a Navy pilot. He was convicted of the police officer's homicide in 2004. He was sentenced to the DP plus 7 life terms for related crimes. But authorities are still uncertain if Rivera is connected to Dail's case. No charges have been filed against him in connection with her case. And it said interviews with him on the subject were not fruitful. So evidently he either was not involved, didn't have any information, or if he was involved, he kept his mouth shut. So Dail's case does remain open and unsolved. She is a graduate of Heathwood Hall Episcopal School. She has an art history degree from Randolph-Macon Women's College. She was planning on enrolling at the University of South Carolina for graduate school at the time she disappeared, and her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information on Dail's case, you can call the Columbia Police Department at 803-233-8474. I'll get caught up in comments one more time, and I do have a video clip with some information. I believe it's an interview with her parents. Michelle C. says, I hope everyone is having a good evening. Absolutely, we are. I hope everybody is, even with my dumpster fire going on here. Absolutely. Chris says, Dail's case has red flags in his opinion. Yep. Absolutely. I agree. All right. I will have to reload my videos. All right. So I'm going to stop and mute my cam while the video was playing, and hopefully I will be back.
It is the oldest missing persons case in Columbia. 28 years ago today, 23-year-old Dail Dinwiddie disappeared from Five Points after attending a U2 concert. The Richland County Sheriff's Department is currently working an active tip in the case. Caroline Colburn reports on this difficult anniversary date that this year perhaps has some renewed hope. Caroline?
Well, Dondi, Dail was last seen 28 years ago in this very area. And even though the Dinwiddies don't know where their daughter is or what happened to her, they haven't lost hope. In 28 years, sitting down to talk about their daughter hasn't gotten any easier for Dan and Jean Dinwiddie.
It is hard. It is hard.
September 24th, 1992 is the last time anyone saw or heard from 23-year-old Dail, who vanished without a trace from the Five Points district.
We think about it every day in some way. We're not obsessed with it. It's always there, though.
Since that night, the search for the Columbia native has spanned thousands of miles, and police have reviewed more than 1,000 tips. Right now, the Richland County Sheriff's Department is reviewing a new tip.
Let's just say there was a very active investigation going on.
Sheriff Leon Lott has been dedicated to finding Dail since he was elected in 1996.
The Dinwiddies have never given up, and we haven't given up either. I made a promise to them 24 years ago when I was elected sheriff that as long as I was sheriff that we would continue to work on this case and follow every lead.
Detective Kevin Eisenhoward has also been by the family's side, filling them in on every new lead.
If you can imagine the roller coaster ride that their emotions have been on for this entire time, every time they get a call like that, every time there's a tip, they go through it again and they reach out and then they get their hopes up.
Well, we're grateful that they are still looking.
In 2012, an artist with the State Law Enforcement Division created this age progression photo of Dail when she would have been 43 years old. Today, Dail would be 51 years old.
Of course, to us, Dail will always look like she's 23 years old. You know, that's our memory of her.
These photos of the bright and loving art history grad still remain throughout the Dinwiddies' home. Her parents think about memories they should have been able to experience.
We don't have any of Dale's children, grandchildren. We were not allowed to see her become a mature young woman who was could function in our society of today. We miss all that.
It's always reassuring to us to know that our church, our family, our friends, Dale's friends, always keep us in their prayers and in their hopes.
Nearly 3 decades later, they're still searching for answers.
Somewhere, somebody knows where Dail is or what happened to her.
And they won't stop until they bring Dail home. Now, Sheriff Lott says if money is your motivation, the Sheriff's Department is still offering a $20,000 reward to anyone who can bring closure to this case or the Dinwiddie family. If you know anything, please contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-CRIME-SC. Live in Columbia, Caroline Colburn, WIS News 10.
All right, Caroline, thank you. And the Dinwiddies also hope their story will remind young people to be careful when they're out and about living their daily lives.
All right, I don't know how well that video played, but I do have links to all the articles and videos that I use. They're in the description box. So if the video didn't play very well, you can go in and watch it again. Once again, I apologize again for all the technical difficulties. Far said she is listening and cooking lunch. That sounds good. I had supper not too long before I started, but maybe I didn't eat enough because my stomach has been growling again. All right, let's see who we have next. I think I went backwards again. All right, that should be Heather, Rochelle, Elvis. I can barely see it, so let me know if that's the right one. So Heather, this one is trigger warning on this one. This one's a rough one. Lots to unpack in this one, so we'll get to it. So Heather was last seen on December 18th, 2013 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She's a white female. She was 20 years old at the time she went missing. She'll be 31 today. At the time she went missing, she was 5 foot to 5'1", 110 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She did have a lot of tattoos. Tattoos are always any kind of scars, markings. Tattoos are always helpful when it comes to missing persons. So I always try to always give that information. So she had a 6-inch compass rose on the inside of her left forearm. She had a 6-inch stylized sea turtle on the left side of her torso. She had an infinity symbol on the right side of her torso. She had a small ocean wave on the outside of her wrist, and she had a sugar skull on her thigh. So Heather was last seen in Myrtle Beach at around 2 a.m. on December 18th, 2013. She had went on a first date on the evening of the 17th, and her date dropped her off at her house after the date. So after she was dropped off back at her house, she called her female roommate. The roommate was visiting relatives out of state, and this was around 3 a.m. She called to tell her how the date went. The conversation ended at around 3:40 a.m., and this is the last time that anyone spoke to her, and she has never been seen again. So at 10:43 p.m. on December 19th, which was the day after she was last seen, her dark green 2011 Dodge Intrepid with Carolina license plates was found, locked and abandoned at the Peachtree boat landing along I'm going to try not to butcher all these names, the Waccamaw River, which is in Socastee, South Carolina. Her keys, purse, and cell phone were not in the car, and they have not been found. The place where her car was parked is on the outskirts of Myrtle Beach and only about an 8-minute drive from her parents' house. It says that she did like to go out on the water occasionally, but she never went out there late at night. So this is where it gets into the lots of stuff to unpack. So at the time she disappeared, she was romantically involved with a 37-year-old married man named Sidney Moorer. And the two inset pictures you see there, the smaller ones, the right is Sidney Moorer. The one on the left is his wife, Tammy. Her roommate, Heather's roommate, said that the relationship had ended more than a month before. Heather, I keep getting my names. Yeah, Heather. So the roommate said that this relationship had ended, or she had been, as far as she knew, it had ended a month before Heather disappeared. But on the night that Heather went missing, there were several calls back and forth between her and Sidney. The final call was at 6 a.m. And according to Heather's roommate, Heather was upset. She was crying. She told her roommate that Sidney told her that he was going to leave his wife to be with Heather, to be with her. Sidney denied this, and he said that he had not seen her since October, but he did admit that he did call her that 6 a.m. call on December 18th, but he said that it was only to tell her to stop calling him. So in January of 2014, William Christopher Barrett and Garrett Ryan Starnes, they were both charged with obstructing justice in Heather's case. So this is a little bit of a weird twist. The authorities said that neither man was actually involved in Heather's disappearance, but they had interfered with the investigation and they had posted false information on social media. So Barrett was a friend of Heather's father, and allegedly he had tried to conduct, like they said, a parallel investigation or his own investigation and a search for Heather. And he said that he didn't mean any harm by doing this. He was just trying to help. But that's why they were charged with the obstructing justice. All right. So on February 21st, both Sidney Moorer and his wife of nearly 20 years, Tammy Kaysen Moorer, they were arrested for 2 counts of indecent exposure and 1 count of obstruction of justice for each of them. Shortly thereafter, they were charged with Heather's kidnapping and with her homicide. So investigators believe that both of them, Sidney and his wife Tammy, kidnapped Heather, took her life at the Peachtree boat landing where her car was found. But in March of 2016, the charges of indecent exposure, obstruction of justice, and homicide against both of them were dismissed. In June of 2016, Sidney was tried for kidnapping, but the jury was unable to reach a verdict. The case ended in a mistrial. He was later found guilty of the obstruction of justice, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In October of 2018, Tammy, his wife, was convicted of kidnapping and conspiring to kidnap Heather, and she was sentenced to 60 years in prison. And so authorities believe that she and Sidney lured Heather to the Peachtree boat landing on the night that she disappeared. In September of 2019, Sidney was tried again in the case, and he was found guilty of kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and he was sentenced to 30 years. So both of them did end up in prison. Heather is described as a responsible young woman. She did not have a history of dropping out of sight. She was a graduate of the St. James High School. She had 2 waitressing jobs at the time that she disappeared. One was at the Myrtle Beach House of Blues, and the other was at the Tilted Kilt pub and eatery. But she had been offered a job as a makeup artist at a local salon, and she was supposed to start work there the week of Christmas. According to her loved ones, prior to her disappearance, she had, had an ordinary life. They said the life of an ordinary young woman. She was active on social media. She had a lot of friends. Typical young lady. Foul play most definitely suspected in her case due to the circumstances. But her remains have not been found. So if you have any information in her case, you can call the Horry County Police Department at 843-915-5350. And let me get caught up in comments. And I do have, hopefully it'll play. If not, once again, I'll have a link. There's a link to it in the description. And I think if it is this case, I have another short video clip. All right, let me get back down to where I was. Yes, that's why I said, trigger warning. Chris said, I'm familiar with Heather's case, but trigger, yes, definitely trigger. There, hello, Junior Johnson. Junior, you're up late, but it's good to see you. And you're in Michigan right now. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Absolutely. Junior is a wonderful supporter of the channel. Wonderful, wonderful person. That is a good point. Our Dave says, you always wonder if some of these missing cases in vacation spots like Myrtle Beach or possible vacationer involved. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, what was her name? I've watched, and her name just flew out of my head. I don't even remember where it's from, but yeah, there's a lady that, or a young girl, I believe she was in high school. She's 16 or 17. She had gone either to Florida or to somewhere down on the southeast coast for spring break, and she never made it back. They did arrest somebody, I believe, and convict him, but I think he was a local. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Dave, about vacationers. Absolutely. Welcome, the Astro from space. Good to see you again. Haven't seen you in here in a while. Emma says, hey, family. In my opinion, he did it. Oh, you're talking about Ray Rivera? Yeah. Yeah, because he is a very bad dude. Let me go back to him. They said he, not Ray Rivera. Excuse me, that was a case before. Yes, the Sydney Moore, the man, one she was having the affair with. Yeah, that is my opinion too. Now, whether or not his wife, she could have been involved, but whether or not she was involved in the actual taking of the life, but at any rate, she was convicted of, what did I say, kidnapping and conspiracy to kidnap. So yeah, just my opinion, but yes, it is my opinion that they both were in on it. Absolutely. Get caught up. Astro says, was she SA'd? We don't know. Her body has never been found. So unfortunately, we don't know. We don't know. No, not Natalie Holloway, but I do know that case too. No, it was another, I can't remember. I keep so many cases running around in my head that, but it was kind of like Natalie, how it did remind me of Natalie's case. Like I said, she had gone down. I can't remember where she was live, but it was in a different state. But she ended up, it was either, I think it was in Florida, either Florida or maybe in North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere on the southeast or in Florida. and she had been out with her friends, and she was walking back to the hotel, and just disappeared. They did get one. She was captured on one of surveillance cameras, like the street cameras, walking down the sidewalk. But they did eventually find, and I believe convicted, or maybe he confessed. He and his girlfriend confessed, but they never found her body. And most likely it was out in a swamp somewhere, and because of the last place that her phone pinged. It just irritates me that I can't think of her name, but I've watched several, like 48 Hours and 2020 and all, those. I watched one not too long ago. It was either 2020 or on ID channel. Yes, Natalie was in Aruba. Yep. All right. Let's see who we got next. Make sure I'm going backwards again. All right. There we go. We have Susan, Kate. Now I'm going too forward. There we go. Susan K. DeLuca. All right, let me get her information. I believe I was got to play the video clip first. Hold on. Yes, that's it, I believe. Thank you, Jenny. Brittany Drexel. Oh, yes, I believe that is the one. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And welcome, Jenny. That's a new name, I believe. I love that. Oh, Jenny 8675309. Yes, I'm of an age where I know exactly what that means. I love that. I love that. So in chat, if you're of a certain age, you'll know what Jenny 8675309 means. So if you're in chat, just off subject, put something in chat if you know what Jenny 8675309 means. I love it. Love it. I'm an 80s girl. I'm an 80s baby, or a 70s baby, and an 80s teenager, or 90s young adult. But welcome, Jenny. Good to have you here. And yes, I believe it was Brittany Drexel. Thank you so much. Like I said, I have so many cases in my head from doing research and just being interested in different cases that I can't keep them straight all the time. Well, welcome. Jenny says it is her first live, and yes, I'm a Gen X. I'm a proud Gen Xer. It's always good to have some Gen Xers in here. And I still, off subject for just 1 minute, but I still don't know what this. I've been trying to get on YouTube. When I'm not looking at true crime stuff, I'm looking at 80s stuff, and But what is the deal with the Gen Xers and the Gen Zers, or in some kind of talking war or whatever's going on with that? But anyway, one of these nights or weekends when I have a chance, we're gonna have to get over on anybody who's interested, get over on my second channel, Southern Gal Ramblings, and talk about anything other than true crime. Talk about the 80s, the music, movies, anything 80s, paranormal, ghosts, all that good stuff. So anyway, Chris says Brittany Drexel's case was just recently solved. I believe you're gonna make me look it up. Don't let me forget after I show this video clip and we do Karen or Susan's case. I'm gonna look at Brittany Drexel and I'm pretty sure that is the one that I was thinking about. You're most welcome, ma'am. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. Yes. Talking about Gen Z, they just haven't figured life out yet. That's it. That's it. I just sit back and laugh. I didn't even know anything about it until I was, like I said, I was on, if I'm not on YouTube watching true crime stuff, I'm watching 80s stuff, my hair bands, or puppy and kitty videos. And then all these things started popping up. Gen Z against Gen X. I'm like, what is going on? And Gen X is a generation, we don't care. We don't care, FAFO or FAFO. So, yeah. Dave says, didn't they get sued for that phone number? Oh, you're talking about the 867-5309? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they did or not. That would be kind of funny, though. Oh, Dave says, oh, no, the crocodile heave lady is back in the news. Oh, Lord, what did she do now? What did she do now? Crocodile heave. Dave, we're still going to start our band. Can't see my horns here. Can get crocodile heave. We're going to start our band. Yes, Jenny says we raised ourselves. Absolutely. We raised ourselves, drank water out of the garden hose, all that good stuff. I did, and I literally did everything, all that stuff. Came home. Well, I live out in the country, but if I was in town with friends, if we were out running the streets, we knew we had to be home by the time the street lights came on. Chris says, I know a case that you could have done from this state. Give me the name and this. Well, the state obviously is South Carolina. I'll look into it. Like I said, I just went through Charley Project South Carolina cases and picked out these 7 to feature. I wish I had the time to be on here 24/7 to cover as many cases as I possibly could, new and old. But I just have to kind of pick and choose sometimes. But yeah, just definitely let me know what name and I'll look into it. All right, I'm caught up in chat. Let me push buttons and try not to throw us into a dumpster fire. Remove that one. I'm going to go fetch the video for, let me go back. For not this case, but for this case. And then I will be right back. I'll stop and mute my camera.
It's been a minute, but then it's been a lifetime since I've seen her and talked to her. She was just here a minute ago, and now she's not.
We can't stop time. It goes by, constantly, and it's never promised.
At 16, it's very easy to point fingers. When you look up at the sky and you ask why and you don't get any answers in return, and you look at your law enforcement, you don't get any answers in return, and you're constantly asking why, it's human nature to fill in the blanks.
Morgan and Debbie Elvis have filled in a lot of blanks about their sister and daughter Heather over the years.
And I think for me, I was angry that she was ever in a situation where she wasn't the smartest person in the room making the smartest decisions and being this invincible person that I thought she was.
In 2013, Heather was 20. She lived with a roommate just a few miles away from her childhood home. She worked as a restaurant hostess. She loved art. These are some of the facts. The blanks the Elvises say are easy to fill. What happened to her in the early hours of December 18th is not.
I know for sure, I don't know for sure. My opinion is that there are a couple people that absolutely know.
Well, that's the problem with unknowns. As we were talking about earlier, that when there's not enough fact, when there's not enough explanation, your mind wanders, possibilities are endless, and it makes it very hard to trust.
The last 10 years have been a series of minutes. Searches, arrest, court dates, drop charges, convictions, and appeals. But in those minutes, no answers.
And I think that my biggest hang-up is that they won't take responsibility. And so if they were to come forward and tell us what happened, I think it would help me to forgive them.
2 months after Heather disappeared, police arrested Sidney Moore and his wife Tammy following a search of their home a mile away from Peachtree Landing.
Our task force has come across surveillance video that allowed us to execute the search warrant today.
That's where Heather's car was found. A day after she told her roommate she had a date with a man who was never a suspect. Court records from Sidney's trial show Heather was in a relationship with Sidney. In 2014, police originally charged Sidney and Tammy with murder and kidnapping. A judge dropped their murder charges. In October of 2018, a jury found Tammy guilty of kidnapping. 11 months later, a separate jury found Sydney guilty of the same charge. They're serving 30-year sentences and are now appealing the verdict. Debbie says that sentence isn't enough.
I'm hoping that they can't sleep at night right now until they come forward and let it go and let it out and give people relief. And that goes for anybody who is hiding a crime, or if you know about it and you're not speaking, you're hiding it. And I need people to come forward. I need people to quit being silent and to do the next right thing.
Morgan has chosen forgiveness, but she says there are days that choice is hard.
There was a woman the other day who was talking about, I'm gonna try not to cry. She was talking to my mother about taking care of her sister in their old age. And she was taking care of her older sister. And that had me broken because I had to grieve the loss of that.
Through the years, Debbie's faith has been a constant. And while there's no promise the Elvises will ever get the answers they hope for, they push on, 1 second at a time.
When people do bad things, there are consequences. Those two people decided to do something wrong, and my daughter and my family has suffered the consequences of it. God could have stopped it. I'm mad that he didn't, so yes, I'm mad at him. But I understand that he's not going to stop all the bad circumstances. I'm grateful that he has taken this and turned a lot of things into good.
All right, that was, get back to, okay. Yeah, take that down, put the slide back up. Okay. So that was an interview, like you saw, with Heather's mother and sister. And it just pains me when her mother said, just somebody, man up or woman up or both, and, tell the truth, give the family some closure. They were convicted, not of the homicide, but they were convicted of kidnapping of Heather. So obviously, a jury thought that they were had something to do with it. But apparently they're obviously horrible people, in my opinion, and they're not going to say anything. But thoughts and prayers and good vibes, as always, to all these families of all the missing. Go get back caught up in comments again. Then we'll do the last. I have one more case. It's just a short one. Okay, Chris said it's the mysterious death of Jack Robinson. Is that the one you're talking about from South Carolina? I will definitely look into it. Thank you, sir. I will most definitely look at it. It's on Jason. Oh yeah, okay. Jason Hebert True Crime. Yep. I think I've watched some stuff from there before. Going back to our 80s conversation, Dave says we used to hop on the bus, head down to the T, and hang out in Boston all day. No adults, 13 to 14 years old. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did. Of course, I live in a very small town. We may maybe barely touching 2,000 population. So if I wasn't out here on the farm, I was in town hanging out with the friends and running the streets. So, yeah, good times, good times. Judy says she grew up in Portland, started taking public transportation at 10. Yeah, and these days you would not even think about letting I mean, I'm an adult and I'm afraid of public transportation. I mean, like I said, I live in we don't have public transportation, but like if we go to the closest to Little Rock, is the closest big city that we live close to, and it just scares me to death whenever we have to go up there because there's just so much craziness going on. Oh, Miss Doris. Yeah, I forgot Miss Doris was from New York because we talk about her accent. She said, talking to Dave, said, sounds awesome. I was born in 72. I was born in 71. I'm in NYC, and it was a cold time and fun to be alive. Nothing to fear like modern times. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Chris says she's 12 years younger than us. He's 12 years younger than us. Excuse me. That's all right. We got all ages and everything in here. Miss Dora said, I'm starting to believe everybody is younger than me. No, we're around the same age, Miss Doris. Just a year apart. I was born in 71. You said you were born in 72? So we're there together. We're Gen Xers. All right, let's get to the last case quickly, and then I have some exciting news that I'm going to share with everybody or anybody who wants to stick around after we get done with this last case. Let me get it on the right slide. Yep, that's the right one. Okay, so this is Susan K. DeLuca. Susan went missing on April 15th, 2010 from Aner, South Carolina. She was 46 years old when she went missing. She would be 60 years old at this time. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4", 108 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. So Susan was last seen in Aner on April 15th, 2010. She was planning to go to Maryland to visit relatives, but she never arrived. They reported her missing on April 29th. So she was last seen on the 15th, and she wasn't reported missing till the 29th. Now, it'd be interesting to know when she was supposed to have arrived in Maryland. So that might have something to do with the length of time that it took her to be reported missing. She had quit her job at the Waffle House. Dave, or any regular at Waffle House? Waffle House alert. She had quit her job at the Waffle House in Aner just before she disappeared. She may have been seen near Sparky's Fireworks, which was on US 501 in Marion County, South Carolina, around the time of her disappearance. Her silver Dodge Stratus with the South Carolina license plate number AIL 991 disappeared with her, has not been found. Oh, no, never mind. The car disappeared with her, but in June, the car was found submerged in the Little PD River. Authorities believe the car went into the river off of a boat ramp, so that's kind of suspicious. They did search the water with cadaver-smelling dogs, but didn't find any sign of Susan. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's not in the water. It just means that, because we all know, anybody who follows true crime, it is very hard. A lot of times, most of the times, it's very hard to find vehicles in water, much less a human in the water. So she could be in there. It says that she did move to Aner about 5 years before she disappeared. She rented a mobile home on Williams Noble Road, and her landlord described her as a good tenant. Her father did say that she was somewhat of a transient, but she had never gone this long without contact with her family. She left behind all her belongings at her home. Her case remains unsolved. So if you have any information on Susan's case, you can call the Horry County Police Department at 843-915-5350. I believe I just have a short article about the recovery of the vehicle. If it will come up. Oh, it came up. Okay. This article is from June of 2010. It says cadaver dogs with the Horry County Police Department searched a section of the Little PD, and that's Peedee River, Monday for evidence connected to the discovery of a submerged car on Friday. According to Sergeant Robert Kegler, spokesman for the county police, the recovered vehicle has been linked to an Aner woman who was reported missing on April 29th. She's a very sweet and loving person. She would give you the shirt off her back. This is according to Dina Sandwick, who is a friend of Susan's. Kelger said that Susan DeLuca was reported to be traveling to Maryland on April 15th. So she was traveling on April 15th. So I wonder how long Dave, if you're driving, don't, because say she's going to Maryland. I know you're up on the northeast somewhere. How long it would take to drive from South Carolina to Maryland. And that would be the time lag between when she disappeared or when she was last seen and when she was reported missing. So she was traveling to Maryland on April 15th to visit family members, but never arrived to her destination. 2 weeks later, the family called the police. Her family called the police to report her missing. An investigation led detectives to believe she may have been seen in Marion County near the Sparky's fireworks around the time of her disappearance. She was believed to have been driving the silver Dodge Stratus. Her mother, Clara Beavers, said, "I pray all the time and I hope that she shows up soon. I don't know why she would be hiding." It says Monday search along the river in Gallivant's Ferry, however, did not yield any substantial evidence in the case. Once again, anyone with any information is asked to call the Horry County Police Department at 843-915-5350. All right, so that is the information on Susan, and I believe, yeah, that was the last one. So let me get caught up on comments. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Doris. Miss Doris said, Southern Gal True Crime, I love you, my half a century sister. Absolutely. We're in our prime. Well, I'll say my mind is still young. My memory is not so good anymore. My mind is still young, but my body, every time a thought pops into my mind, my body's like, no, sister, not anymore. We're too old for that. Dave said 1967. Is that the year you were born? You old man. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Dave. We love you. That's not old. Yep. Jenny says, nope. Says my teens are 18, 18, and 17. They aren't allowed to go into the city without me and our 90-pound pit. Absolutely. Portland is so different now. The Fent, yes, has turned everyone into zombies. Yes, that the Fent or the Finny, whatever you want to call it, because I can't say the whole word on YouTube or they'll banana me. But yeah, that so much scary stuff out there. So Jenny's 1977, born in 77. Absolutely. They said he had a sister born in 1967, or his eldest sister. Yep, absolutely. Chris says Susan's case is red flags. Yep. Yep. And let me go back and look. Because I like I said, my memory, where the car was found, if it was in South Carolina. Let me go back. Just says that the car was found submerged in the Little PD River. Authorities believe the car got into the river via a boat ramp. So I'm assuming, let me go back to the other article, that the car was found in South Carolina. Go back to the article. Yeah, so the car was found in South Carolina, so she never made it. Assumably, at least the car, and you would assume her never made it out of South Carolina. But I don't know how far away the car was found from where, because she was seen at the fireworks place. So I don't know how far away that was from where the car was found in the river. That would be interesting to know. All right, get caught up again. Dave said nobody was taking us brats. Dora says, Jenny, love what my 1970s friend. It really was the best time to be alive and be born. Absolutely. I loved growing up being a kid in the 70s, being a teenager, going in, being in high school. I graduated in 89, being in high school, in the 80s. To me, and not just because I grew up in the 80s, but to me, the 80s were the best. The 80s were the best. And I like the 90s too, because I was a young adult in the 90s. So in the 90s, of course, in the 80s, early 80s, I listened to, the Duran Duran and Culture Club and Wham and Cyndi Lauper and all that. And then late 80s, early 90s, I got into my hair bands, which are my go-to, my jam, the Bon Jovi and Slaughter, Skid Row, Motley Crue, Poison, Tesla, all those good bands. That's my jam. And then I still listen to the hair bands today, still. But in the 90s, when the grunge and alternative came along, I liked the grunge alternative, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, all those. Yeah, I don't know if Miss Barbara's still here, but she mentioned on my live stream, whatever live stream it was the other night, I think it was when we was talking about the Marissa Carmichael case, that we're going to have a music night again. Live stream, not talk about true crime, but talk about music, anything but true crime, have a decompression live stream and talk about music, because I could talk music all night long. All night long. So I'll try to, I don't think I'll be able to do a live stream this weekend. That's why I'm doing so many this week, because I probably won't be able to do another one until next weekend. Except for Thursday. I got to tell you all about Thursday. But yeah, next time we do a true crime after dark or do a Southern Gal after dark, we'll just talk about anything but true crime. Talk about music, movies, anything that comes into our mind that we want to talk about. Oh. Almost hit the wrong button and ended the stream. I was trying to scroll up in comments. Yes, Dave. Yes, Dave. I said Waffle House. Because in one of the cases, I believe it was Susan's case, she had just quit. She was working at a Waffle House, and she had just quit right before she disappeared. Okay, so Dave said, because I asked how long it would take to drive from South Carolina to Maryland. Dave was saying Dave said normally 2 to 3 hours. That's it. I would figure it'd be longer than that, but I've only been out to the East Coast. Well, twice. The first time I went on a trip, we went to the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then the second trip we went up to my mind just went blank again. That's what happens when you're as old as I am. Up to Dave's neck of the woods up there, up in that area. Went to we saw Plymouth Rock. We went to the Nantucket area that up that way. So anyway, but yeah, I would think that would be a longer drive, but Dave would know, because I think Dave says he and his wife used to travel down from where they live down to the Carolinas. So Dave would know. I don't doubt Dave. Don't ever doubt anything Dave says. Oh, Far says she's finished eating. I'm a first year of Gen X, 1965. Excellent. Lots of Gen Xers in here. Jenny said my siblings were late 80s. They just have no clue. Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers. The middle brother was born in 74, so he's definitely Gen Xer. And my youngest brother was born in 1980. So technically, I would consider him Gen X, but he's kind of on the cusp of what Gen X and what's the next one, Millennial. But he's more of a Gen X because he was the baby and he was influenced by what me and our brother, the Gen Xers, our likes. So he's definitely has a Gen X soul. Oh, you're not old, Junior. Junior says, I guess I'm the old one here, 1953. Well, not to make you feel old, but my mom was born in 51. So you're only as old as your mind feels. Yes, Far said Junior is a boomer. Yeah, my mom's a boomer. And then speaking of, then was it the boomers and the millennials that were into it here a while back? I know we're getting off subject. That's okay. We got all the information, the important information out. Now we can chat about whatever. But for anybody who doesn't want to stick around to just chat and hang out for a minute, thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Comment, share. That's the most important thing all of us can do. Creators sharing other creators' videos and information. The wonderful community we have here that always shares. Share, likes, all that stuff helps this information get out to as many people as possible. That is the point, is for this information to get out so that these missing, their faces stay out there, their names stay out there, they're never forgotten. And hopefully one of these days we can get some resolution to some of them and families can get some closure. Absolutely. So we've got boomers in here. We got Gen Xers in here. But wasn't it, yeah, the millennial, at one point the boomers and the millennials were picking on the boomers or something. Somebody's always got to be starting something. Isn't that like a Michael Jackson song? Got to be starting something. Far said, my kids tell me I'm stuck in the 80s. That's not a bad place to be. I wish I was still in the 80s sometimes, especially these days. Oh, yes. Jenny says, so then you guys will understand my love for New Kids on the Block. Absolutely. Actually, a few years ago when it was New Kids on the Block, they were doing the, what's it called? The mixtape tour. It was like New Kids on the Block, Debbie Gibson, Naughty by Nature, Tiffany, Salt and Pepper. They were all touring together. We actually went to Memphis to see them. Excellent concert. So, yep, I definitely have a love for New Kids on the Block, too. So you are not alone, Miss Jenny. Yep, Miss Jenny says she loves all music. Yep, I have a very diverse music taste. Anything from Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack, 60s, some 70s. Not really a big fan of disco, except for the Bee Gees. I do love the Bee Gees, but only because I love Saturday Night Fever and Grease. Love those movies. Of course, 80s is my jam. Hair bands are my jam. Grunge, alternative, hard rock, metal, country, some rap, hip hop. I like the 80s hip hop stuff. So yeah, I have a very diverse musical taste also. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so Chris says the river in the Susan case, the river you're referring to starts in North Carolina and ends in the PD River. Okay. Excuse me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. I'm going to turn my cam off for a minute. It's because when I'm reading these comments, I feel like I'm leaning so much into the camera. I don't want my big fat face in the camera. Hello, Miss Paula. Welcome. How are you doing, my dear? I was just thinking about you. I hadn't seen you in a while. Oh, she says she's staying. Yep. Anybody who wants to stay and hang out and chat for a while. And we got all the important information taken care of. So, and I thanked everybody if they, whoever didn't want to stay for just general chat. We got all the important missing information relayed the best that I could with all the dumpster fire that was going on tonight. But welcome, Miss Paula. Hope you're doing well. Okay, Dave said, going back to Susan's case, more like 4 hours. The fireworks place must be south of the border. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where I still got let me find the information. Yeah, because I may have to look into this a little bit more because I just got the basic information in that one article about when they found the car. But it'd be interesting to know. So it says um, that she may have been seen near Sparky's Fireworks, which is on US 501 in Marion County, South Carolina, around the time of her disappearance. So that is where the fireworks place is, in Marion County, South Carolina, which I have no idea where that's at. I've been to South Carolina once. I loved it. I love South Carolina. We went to Charleston. And then in North Carolina, we went to wherever the Biltmore house is. We got to tour the Biltmore, which was amazingly beautiful. But yeah, that is where the fireworks place was. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Junior. Junior says the boomer is heading to bed. Good night, Southern Gal, and everyone. Thank you, Junior. Thank you for being here, my friend. It's always good to see you. Oh, there's Lance from Canada. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Always good to see Mr. Lance. And I still hate it that you cannot get those articles in Canada. They block them. That still irritates me to no end. Oh, you're not late, Lance. You're fine. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Chrissy, you can always watch a replay. We got through the information. Now we're just having some chat. We've been talking about boomers and Gen Xers and millennials and music and whatever else comes to mind. That's some good music right there. Miss Jenny says she loves the Bee Gees, the Eagles, Hank Jr. and Senior. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Love all those. Love all of those. Yep. Well, Lance says it's a terrible thing because I can't post crime satires on the Pamela Jones Foundation Facebook page anymore. I just don't understand. Well, you said it had to do with Trudeau, right? With the blocking to protect the news industry over there or whatever we just said it was. Crime stories. Okay, gotcha. Crime. You can't post crime stories. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. For lack of a better word, that sucks. It does. Honestly. All right. All right, so we can chat some, but I do want to, before I forget, while people still here, hopefully, fingers crossed with my poopy, crappy connection cell service that I have to rely on. But hopefully, if everything goes as planned, Thursday night, we're going to be doing a live stream about Timmy D's case. And we'll have a co-host, like I said, if everything works out, which it should, as long as everything goes okay on my end. I'm going to have a co-host and a very, very special guest and a very, very special co-host. So we're going to be talking about Timmy D's, some new information, information that I had just become aware of in Timmy's case. And I wanted to talk about. So if everything goes as planned, Miss Barbara Hall will be our special guest. I don't know if Miss Barbara's still here or not. And Mr. Arctic Fox True Crime will be my co-host. And so we will talk about Timmy D's case and this new information to me because I'm so behind in everything. So I'm very excited, so excited about that. Very honored that Miss Barbara would come on, and Arctic has been on, I think, once before on panel here with me. So I'm very excited about that. It should be Thursday around 8 p.m. Central Time. So please be here if you can to be in chat to ask questions. I wanted Miss Barbara to be here because she is the best one to be able to explain this information. She's the one that found it. And if, like, once again, if you don't know about Timmy D's case, I do have a playlist. You can just go to YouTube or wherever, Google, put in Timmy D's, and you can read everything about Timmy's case. Miss Barbara has been fighting for so long for justice for Timmy. So I try to do, and I become through YouTube, through this screen, I become very fond and very close to the whole family, to Miss Barbara, to Miss Marion, Timmy's aunt, Mr. James, who I believe is Timmy's uncle, if I'm correct. That whole family, just a wonderful family. So I'm very excited. I hope it doesn't turn into a total dumpster fire on my end. That is one of the reasons that I wanted to have Arctic Fox on here as my co-host, just in case my connection goes in the dumper, the stream will still be going, and he can, him and Miss Barb can keep it going while I get back in, if I go in and out. And plus, Arctic is I love him to death. He's another creator, friend, a fellow Arkansan. He always has very wonderful insight, wonderful thoughts and opinions on cases. He is very familiar with Timmy's case and with Miss Barbara. So I just wanted to have him on too. So I'm looking, like I said, I'm very excited, but then again, I'm nervous because with my connection. So definitely, like I said, if you can be here live, absolutely. If not, that's fine. You can watch replay, but please watch it any way you can, whether it be live or on replay. I'm looking very forward to it. Let's see. I'm getting caught up in comments again. Yes. Okay. So going back to Lance says that's right, because each news outlet owns the right to the story. So that's, yeah, okay. I got you. Talking about blocking the links. It's all about the money, I guess. All about the money. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry to hear that. Lance says the 13th anniversary of my mother's homicide just passed on August 11th, still unsolved. What is her name? And I will research it or get in touch with you, or you can email me. Let me see if I can find my banner without messing everything up. Where everything is out of line here. There it is. You can email me, or you can or you can put it in chat, or if you don't want to put it out there, you can email me at souherngaltruecrime@hotmail.com. Give me some info, and I will share her story on here. Absolutely, Lance. If you would like me to get more attention to it, and I can get in touch with like Arctic Fox and other creators that have bigger channels that I do, that I'm sure will be more than willing to cover it too, to get some more exposure. Absolutely. Absolutely would do that. So just let us know. Let me know. But I'm so sorry. Thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to you, Lance. Absolutely. Chris, those are some good ones too. Chris says he likes Queen, Freddie Mercury, New Kids on the Block, Boys to Men. Oh, I love me some Boys to Men. Yes, sir. Jerry Lee Lewis. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely going to have, it had to be next weekend, not this coming weekend, but weekend after. Have a Southern Gal After Dark. Instead of True Crime After Dark, have a Southern Gal After Dark on Friday or Saturday night. Just talk about music, whatever we want to talk about. Usually it boils down to music. I think music is the universal language, because everybody, most everybody, 99.9% of people can like music, can relate to music. The language of music is very strong, if that makes sense. Yep, absolutely. Oh, yes. Miss Paula says, when will part 2 of the West Memphis 3 case be aired? Yeah, I was supposed to do that, a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and something happened, probably my crappy connection, and I had to cancel it. And then we had the death in the family. My sister-in-law passed away, so I'm just now getting back in after 2.5 weeks, getting back into the swing of things. Very soon, I'm going to actually do a live stream. I'll have to figure it out. Because Thursday we're going to be doing TME, and then Friday and this weekend I'm not going to have the house. We have people in the house, so I have to pick and choose when I do my live streams, when I can have some quiet. As soon as I can get it done or schedule it, yes, because I definitely want to get back to West Memphis 3, because I have a whole series of live streams, whatever, case discussion live streams that I want to do about West Memphis, because I know a lot of people that come in here are very interested in that case, as I am. But yes, very soon. I promise, Paula. I promise. I promise. Absolutely. Forrest says, Lance sending love and light, praying for justice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Lance says, Pamela Jones. Hold on, let me get something to write on. 1 second. Of course, whenever I need something to write on, I never have anything handy. Pamela Jones. Writing it down. Salmon Arm, British Columbia. I got it, sir. I will most definitely look into it and get a live stream or something together for it. If you do live streams, you could come on panel and give us our story. If not, I'll research it and I'll put something together. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, you're talking about your mom's case? So Lance says the police put a media ban on the case. Last time I had to get permission from the RCMP when I did a show with Jason Heber. Oh my goodness. So they won't even let you go on anything or do anything to talk about your mom's case. That, once again, that sucks, for the lack of a better word. I could think of some other words to use, but I would get a banana on here, get a strike. That sucks. Okay, so I will so if you can't be on, I will research it and I will be in touch with you. You can like I said, you can feel free to email me. The link to my email is also in the description of my channel. It's souherngaltruecrime@hotmail.com. I will most definitely cover it, and I will get in touch with some other creators and see what they can do. They would be, I'm sure Arctic would be, if he hasn't already, he would be more than happy to share it also. Ooh, Paula. Oh yeah, I remember you said that. Paula said she saw New Kids on the Block in concert on Friday night. Yeah, I think the last time you were in a live stream, you were talking about that you were going to go see them. I'm so jealous. I want to see them again. I loved them when I saw them. I don't even know. It's been a few years ago now. Well, like I said, when they all did that mixtape tour. Absolutely. And I would have loved to seen, I think a few years ago, New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys were touring together or did a couple of shows together, because I love Backstreet Boys too. Yep, that would have been an excellent concert to go to. Absolutely. Far says, makes a lot of sense. Music soothes the savage beast. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, Lent says, Jesus thinks music is wonderful for sure. You are right. Absolutely, sir. You're welcome, Miss Paula. Now, Dave, yep, Dave says music is everything. Yep. Yep, to me, I rely on my family, my faith, and music to get me through. And I mean, I listen to music every day, as much as I can. If I'm in the car working, I got the radio going. If I'm at home, I'm on Spotify listening to music, or I'm on YouTube watching music videos, or, I always have to have music. Yep. Paula says, in the words of Eddie Munson, this is music. Yes. I've still got to get caught up on Stranger Things, because I know that character is based on Damien Eccles. But I think I made it through the whole first season of Stranger Things, and I think I made it through the second season, and maybe part of the third season. I've got to go, but it's been so long since I watched it. I'll have to go back and start all over again. Oh, I loved In Excess. Yeah, Far says, I was going to see In Excess and Leonard Cohen, but Michael Hutchins passed before concert, and so did Leonard did also, so I haven't been to a concert. Oh, yeah, that just killed me when Michael Hutchins passed away. I love In Excess. And another thing, it wasn't a death, but here many years ago, a few years ago, Elton John and Billy Joel were touring together, and they were going to come here or to Arkansas to Little Rock to do a show, but they ended up having to cancel the show because Billy Joel was sick or something, which Billy Joel was okay, but I would have just gone to the concert just to see Elton John, because I've always been bigger fan of Elton John than a Billy Joel, but unfortunately they didn't reschedule, so we had to get a refund on the ticket. So I did not get to see Elton John, which I'm disappointed about, because I don't think he even tours anymore. So that was a bucket list that went down the drain. Oh, Jenny says she went to see New Kids on the Block on Valentine's Day, 1989. Wow, that's a long time ago. I graduated in 89. That's a long time ago. Oh my goodness, making me feel old but young at the same time, if that makes any sense. Right. Does anybody have anything else we want to talk about? If not, I can't even see how long we've been going. My screen is messed up on my phone. Yes, yeah, Miss Paula said nice. Yeah, talking about seeing New Kids on the Block. Yep. I'm glad I got to see them when we went to Memphis to see them. Once in a lifetime thing. And then here, it was actually just a few days before my sister-in-law passed away. Me and my mom went to see Three Dog Night. So that's the last concert I've been to. It's Three Dog Night. Excellent concert. Those guys, they're like in their 70s or 80s now, and they sound so good. I mean, they're, in the 70s or 80s, and their voices still, their voices sound better than a lot of like the 80s and 90s bands that are still around playing, sadly. But yeah, they sounded good. And I believe Mom said that they still had all their original members. So it was a very good concert. Oh, I like some Village People too. Chris said he likes the Village People. I like Village People too. I remember as a kid, or whenever the YMCA came out doing the YMCA thing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Love some Village People. Green Day is one of my favorite bands, and the Gaithers are good too. I never got to go to a Gaither concert, but I don't know if I know my grandparents went to see them, and one of my aunts and uncles went to see the Gaithers and said they are excellent. But I've seen videos of Gaithers. They're very good. Yes, I love Green Day, and I finally got to see Green Day. I never got to see Green Day back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever Dookie came out. But when they did, I believe the American Idiot tour, I think it was, we got to see them. Finally got to see Green Day. They came to Little Rock here in Arkansas, and we got to see them. Yep, Green Day. Love Green Day. Jenny says she loves the Gaithers. Yes, I've watched, listened to them on the radio or tape, whatever. When I was a kid, my grandparents listened to them, so probably vinyl records or on the radio. So, yeah, I grew up listening to the Gaithers. Paula says she loves the top 40 pop, country, rock, R&B, sometimes rap. It sounds like me. I'll listen to anything once, and if I like it, I'll listen to it again. If not, I just won't listen to it anymore. Dave said, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant is a great song. Had to remind me what is that? Who is that? Is that Green? No. Dave, you have to remind me who sings that. I'm having a brain fart. Yes, that is one of my favorite ones. Chris says, I love Wake Me Up When September Ends. Yes, love it. And I know they usually end their concerts with that song. Or I know when we went to see them, that's what they ended on. And I watched a lot of, on YouTube, they have a lot of their Green Day concerts on there. And they always are just, he comes out and plays the just acoustic guitar and sings it. Nobody's name will come to my head right now. Can't even think of the singer's name, and I've loved Green Day ever since they came out. Anyway, yeah, Paula says she loves that song. Oh, Jenny says she loves Three Dog Night. Yeah, I was right. Me and my brothers were raised on Three Dog Night. On Three Dog Night and Creedence Clearwater Revival. Those are my parents' two favorite bands. So they were always 8-track tapes, always playing in the house. Jenny says she loves, she saw the Four Tops. Oh, I would love to see that. I love the Four Tops. Barbara Mandrell and Ronnie Millsap. Yep, I was raised on that too. Yes, ma'am. Paula says Billy Joel. So you're a Billy Joel fan? Yeah, I like Billy Joel. But like I said, with the concert thing with him and Elton John, they canceled because Billy Joel was sick. I would have gone just to see Elton. Okay, Lance, is that your email address, Lance? I will write it down. What did I do? Oh, I threw my paper and my pen over here. I can't reach it. See if I can find another pen that writes. Is that your email, Lance? Or what is that? I'm confused. Oh, TikTok. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Apparently, I'm gonna have to create a TikTok account. I don't have TikTok, but I may get one just to try to get some more because apparently TikTok is the thing. I have YouTube and I have Facebook, and that's all I do. Welcome, Tech Death Hippie. Good to have you here. New name, new face. Say hello to Chris. I'm assuming you know Chris. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I forgot to write down I got to find it. Mr. Bojangles. Now I forgot it. 1971. Oh, that's the year I was born. I should be able to remember that. All right, got that written down, and I'll put it right there so If I have to write anything else down, I won't have to dig for another pen or pencil. Turn my camera off for just a second. Get back to where I was. Oh yeah, some Wham. Jenny says, I like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Wham, absolutely. That's one of my favorite songs. She said, I have my mom's 45s. Yep, I remember 45s. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I love that song. Oh, yep, We Didn't Start the Fire. That's probably one of my favorite Billy Joel songs. I like that one. Excellent song. Because that's one so fast with the lyrics. And when it first came out, I memorized the lyrics and could sing along with it. And I couldn't do it to save my life now, unless I had the lyrics going in front of me when the song was on. And that is definitely a good song. And sadly, that song is still relevant today. As is Land of Confusion by Genesis. That's still relevant today. I watched some music channel I watched. The guy talks about a lot of 80s stuff, and he was talking about Land of Confusion. And I've seen other people, mention how relevant that song still is, unfortunately. Oh, that would be an excellent halftime show. Paula said Elton John and Billy Joel are on my list for the Super Bowl halftime show. Yes, ma'am. That would be excellent. I can't remember. Was it last year they had all the rappers for the halftime show for the Super Bowl? Dr. Dre and I can't remember who else. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. And it was Snoop Dogg. I can't remember if he was on there. I love Snoop Dogg too. I can't remember if that was last year or the year before though. Excellent. Chris said Tech Death does music. Is that you have a channel or a Spotify channel or TikTok or anything? Definitely let us know. We'll check it out. Oh, I love Bosom Buddies. Oh, did not come up. There it is. Jenny said, I like We Didn't Start the Fire in My Life, theme to Bosom Buddies. Yes, I love Bosom Buddies. I love that show. And that song too, the theme song. Yeah, now you're talking my language. Well, nothing is, there we go. Take That says, Sweet Child of Mine, song of the 80s. Yep, you're speaking my language right there with some Guns N' Roses. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm an 80s girl. We got some Gen Xers in here. I agree with you. Take Dad says AC/DC or Metallica make the most sense for football. I agree with you because football is a violent sport, and AC/DC and Metallica is not violent music, but heavy metal. And I love both of those bands. Those are the two loudest concerts I have ever been to. Because I went to see years ago when AC/DC and Motorhead toured together. They came here, and I went to see them. I saw them after Metallica, and then when Metallica and oh crap, just flew out of my head again. Oh crap, what can I remember? I'm telling you, I'm old. When Metallica and Metallica and Godsmack were touring together. I went to that. They came here. Oh God, that was so loud. I mean, and I love loud music. I've listened to loud music all my life. That's one main reason I can't hear anymore. But man, I was almost, for both of those concerts from Metallica and AC/DC, I was almost wishing I had some earplugs because it was so loud. It was good. It was both excellent concerts, but God, good God, they were loud. Okay, Chris says he has a channel. Absolutely. Is that the name? Is Tech Death Hippie the name of the channel, or is it something different? Okay, so Tech Death, definitely have to check it out. This is my channel here with music. I will definitely be checking out. Most certainly. And I'm sure there'll be some other people here that yes, I saw. Talking about Snoop Dogg. Paula said he performed at the Olympics. Snoop Dogg did, and he's a new coach on The Voice. Yes, I love. Yeah, because me and my mom watched all the Olympics. We haven't watched the last 2 nights yet. We have them DVR'd, but oh, I love Snoop Dogg. He's so hilarious, and I love his music. Because back in the '90s when he was really popular, I had a boyfriend that he was a paramedic, and I'll go to the paramedic station and hang around with them, and they were always listening to Snoop Dogg. So that's how I became a Snoop Dogg fan. And he's just so funny. I just love him. But yeah, I may have to watch The Voice since he's going to be a coach on there. And yeah, I did watch the closing ceremonies last night. Some of them are when they were doing the LA part and when Snoop Dogg was performing. Good stuff. Yes, Paula says she loves Tom Hanks. I do too. Dave said Billy Joel. Yep. Paula says she's born in '79. Yep, you're a Gen Xer. I think it's what Gen Xers are 65 to 80 is the Gen X. Yeah, Paula said that would be cool, and so would Queen with Adam Lambert. Yep. Oh, Tech Dad said, "Wow, so lucky about something." I don't know what you're talking about, but Paula said Britney Spears will be cool. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, some Jeff Beck and Robin Trower. Yep. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Chris says I'm not a Tom Cruise fan. I love Tom Cruise and Top Gun, but just because it's Top Gun and that is one of my favorite movies of all time. Because it's such a good movie. The main point, because it was a really good movie, for a cheesy action 80s action movie, and because it had all the hot guys in it. But yeah, I've just never been a big Tom Cruise fan. I just don't understand why. I mean, he's a good actor, but he's just not I like kind of more the offbeat actors like you see in like Quentin Tarantino movies and like Michael Madsen and people like that you would see in like Quentin Tarantino movies, Robert Rodriguez movies, Kevin Smith movies. Oh, I would love to see Bruce Springsteen. Absolutely. Yes, I absolutely have that. CRS, can't remember shite. I definitely have a bad case of that. Yes, hashtag the struggle is real. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Tom Cruise never ages. I think they've like cloned him or something, or he's a AI or a robot or something. Because he came down in the closing ceremonies of talking about the Olympics. I did see that part. He came down on one of those harnesses from the ceiling. Kind of like he did like the Mission Impossible movies. I do like those movies, but not because Tom Cruise was in them. But yeah, I was like, really? He might break a hip or something. But yeah, he never ages. He never ages. It's craziness. Crazy, crazy. Billy Joel. That's the. I finally remembered Green Day singer's name, Billy Joe. Oh God. How long has it been? Like 30 minutes ago that I was trying to think of that. Oh God. Like I said, I've loved Green Day since they first came out, and my CRS is kicking in. Yeah, Chris said Tom Cruise does his own stunts. I believe it. He's like superhuman or something. I don't know. He's an alien. Maybe we should have an alien show and talk about aliens and Tom Cruise to see if Tom Cruise is an alien. Oh goodness, I love chatting with you guys. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to weekend after next or sometime next time I get a chance to do a live, just have a Southern Gal After Dark and just talk about music, movies, whatever we want to talk about. Yes, that is another reason I'm not too fond of Tom Cruise. No offense to anybody who may be into Scientology, but yeah, that's yeah. I don't understand. I don't even try to understand it. It's just not for me. But yes, Top Gun I love Top Gun. Love Top Gun. And I was never what was it what Risky Business when he did the dance to Old Time Rock and Roll in the underwear and I never got into that movie. I couldn't. Everybody loved that movie and I just could never get into it. Yep, Chris says that's why he doesn't like Tom Cruise. Yep. I have to agree with you there, my friend. See, once again, I forgot to turn my camera on. Oh, Dave said, oh, wrong one. That's all right. Dave says Deep Purple was the loudest concert for him. I bet they were I bet they were purple. I bet they were loud. But whenever Deep Purple, it's Smoke on the Water. That's the only song that ever comes to mind when you mention Deep Purple. Yeah, Paula says she loves Tom Cruise but does not support Scientology. Yep. Yep. So what else you guys want to? Yep. Yeah. Chris said Tom Cruise was big with Nicole Kidman a while back. Yep. Because it was. Were they married? I can't remember if they married or just dating. And then he married. What's her name? Once again, names that escape me. CRS or old timers or both. Jenny said it happens to the best of us. Yeah. All the time for me. And I apologize. I've been messing with my hair. It probably looks horrible. Oh, well. I'm not on here to win a beauty contest. Oh. So. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. They were married. Yeah. And then he married, once again. They're not married anymore, but, let's see if get my computer to come up. Now my laptop. Oh, there it goes. My laptop went to sleep on me. Katie, what's her name? What was her last name? Was that her name? Katie something that he married? Katie Holmes. That's it. Thank you, Paula. Yep, Katie Holmes. Now I don't have to look it up. Thank you for rescuing me. Yes. Yep. Now, yep. Now Nicole is with Keith Urban. I like Keith Urban. Never got to see him in concert yet. Trying to think of some. Miss Paula said, "You're welcome." Yes. Thank you for saving me. Yes, I agree. As Jenny said, Keith Urban is far better. Yep. I agree with you, ma'am. Far better. Yes, I love Keith Urban. Paula says she loves Keith Urban too. Yep, I do too. Trying to think of some other concerts I've been to recently besides Three Dog Night. I haven't been to that was the first concert that I've been to in long time. And then most of the ones I've been to before that were country. I needed another good rock and roll concert, but I can't afford them. Because Hootie and the Blowfish came back up to North Arkansas again, and I wanted to go see Hootie and the Blowfish again. because they came when they went. I was on their group therapy tour. They came up to Northern Arkansas to not to Fayetteville, but to oh Lord. Anyway, so we went to see, me and my mom went to see Hootie and the Blowfish because I never got to see Hootie back in the day, but we got to go see him. Oh, I love some Bad Company. Dave said Bad Company is his favorite band. I like Bad Company. Yes, sir. Oh, I was wondering who was going to take Katie's place. Paula said Carrie Underwood is taking Katy Perry's place on American Idol. I was wondering who was going to take Katie's place because I do watch American Idol some. I like Carrie Underwood. I like her when she first came out, but I think, in my opinion, she suffers from overplay, at least around here, because every time you turn on the country stations around here, it's always Carrie Underwood. She's excellent. Yes, Paula said Darius Hootie is a country singer. Yes, but before that he was but he always wanted to be, actually when he started he started Hootie and the Blowfish. He actually wanted to be a country singer, but then they started Hootie and it was more that 90s rock, late 80s, early 90s rock. But yes, I love Darius's country songs too. And in my opinion, you could take any Hootie and the Blowfish song and make it could be a country song, and you could take any of Darius's country songs and it could be a Hootie and the Blowfish song. It's just interchangeable. They're so good. And I have seen Darius in a country performance, a country concert too. But he did do a couple of the Hootie songs. But I saw it was Darius. Once again with me and the names. Brad Paisley. It was when Brad Paisley, Darius, and the other guy with the gorgeous blue eyes was those three were touring together years ago, and me and my mom and my aunt went, and we had like second or third row on the floor, so it was just like right there, and it was an excellent concert. Very good, very entertaining. And talking about Darius and his country, I remember when Darius, of course, I had listened to Hootie back in the day when they first came out, and so therefore, my mom had heard Hootie and the Blowfish, and whenever his first country single came out, I came in one day and my mom said, "Who is Darius Rucker?" I said, "Mom, it's Hootie, the singer for Hootie and the Blowfish." She's like, I knew that voice. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because at that point, I didn't realize, I wasn't listening to a lot of country. I didn't realize that he had started doing country music. And they said he's doing country now, country music, and they just played a song, his first single, and I recognized the voice, but I couldn't. And they said it was Darius Rucker, and I knew the name. I'm like, it's Hootie. So that's how I came to know that Darius was doing country. Chris says Tom Cruise isn't married anymore. I'm not surprised. Some just tells me it will be very hard to be married to Tom Cruise. Chris says I'm not a fan of Ryan Upchurch at all. That name is familiar, but is he a singer? Ryan Upchurch. You'll have to jog my memory once again. My memory is not there. So what is like, for anybody who's still here, I can't even tell how many people still here. What is the very first concert that you guys ever went to? Like very first concert that you remember going to? Okay, so Chris said Ron Upchurch is a singer and a rogue advocate. I might have to look him up because that name is so familiar, but I just can't place him. And I forgot what I was talking about. Imagine that. Oh, first concert. anybody ever went to. My first concert, I was 15 years old. Was Bon Jovi and Cinderella during the Slippery When Wet tour, Barton Coliseum, Little Rock, Arkansas. 15 years old, first concert I ever went to. I went by myself. Of course, my mom and dad drove me up there. And back in that time in the 80s, because it was like 80, so I was 15, so 85, 84, 85. They drove me up there, and back then they had what they called the parents' quiet rooms, which was in a different, or at least at Barton Coliseum they did. It was a separate building because it was on the fairgrounds. And so they drove me up there and stayed in the quiet room, and I went in and by myself, 15 years old, to watch Bon Jovi and Cinderella, one of the best concerts I've ever, and I still have the concert, the t-shirt. I still have a lot of concert t-shirts from back in the day, 80s. I sold some of, you would not believe, or you may believe, what people would pay for vintage original, like 80s, early 90s rock and roll t-shirt, music t-shirts, and what people would pay for like vintage 90s, like the Attitude Era wrestling t-shirts. I made lots of money on eBay at one point, selling off some of my wrestling t-shirts and some of my that I had duplicates of somehow, concert t-shirts from the 80s. I made lots of money. All right, let's see. Paula says her first concert was Tiffany and New Kids on the Block was the opening act. That would be an excellent concert, because I enjoyed during that mixtape tour. Of course, New Kids on the Block, Tiffany performed. Excellent. Debbie Gibson, Naughty by Nature, Salt. I loved Salt and Pepper. Of course, I always liked them. I never got to see any of them back in the day. But I always loved Salt and Pepper, most of their songs. And excuse me, my supper's backing up on me. That was rude. I'm sorry. But I really enjoy Salt and Pepper put on an excellent show at that concert, and they were probably my favorites behind New Kids on the Block as far as performance wise at that concert. But Tiffany and Debbie Gibson did a really good job too. Yes, Chris asked if do you remember a Kylie Rodney case? I don't know the ins and outs of it, but yes, I do know of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry for leaning into the camera. Oh, that's a good one. Dave said his first concert was Boston. Yep, I like Boston. That's another familiar. Paula's talking to Chris, but she says, I still remember the Molly Bish case. I was looking at something about that case the other night. I don't remember what it was, or it was brought up, or I saw it on Facebook group or something somewhere. Something about Molly Bish. Turn my camera off for a minute. I don't even know what time it is, guys. It's 11. Okay, it's a little bit after 11. So we've been on here about 3 hours. Anybody got anything else? All right, guys. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, I'll probably get out of here, save me some voice, because I really do need to get try if I can get StreamYard to cooperate, get some videos recorded to upload this rest of this week. Or maybe, and don't forget, once again, Thursday night, if all goes as planned, we're going to be talking about Timmy D's case, and we'll have Miss Barbara Hall on, and Arctic Fox True Crime. So please, if you can, make it for the live stream. If not, perfectly fine. I love my replay crew. So definitely tune in for that. Chris said, you talking about the Molly Bish case, said that case has been on his mind recently. Yeah, I can't remember if it was on Facebook or something I was looking at that, or maybe on YouTube, I was just scrolling through and something came up about that case. But once again, with my memory, don't remember. All right, guys. So thank you everybody for who was here in chat. For our first part was Missing Person Monday. Second part's been just chat, which is wonderful. I love chatting with you guys. If nobody has anything else, we will get out of here. Oh, okay. Chris says Ron Upchurch was bad mouthing the Rodney family. Oh, okay, that. See, I don't. Anybody, anybody who's a regular here knows in this community on my channel, wonderful people. We do not family bash. We don't victim bash. We don't bash each other for our opinions. We can have adult conversations and agree to disagree on some things. Absolutely. But yeah, bad mouthing, no. That's not good. Oh, that's another good one, Dave. Steely Dan. Dave, I'm gonna have to one night when we do I don't know your work schedule. When we have just our casual Southern Gal After Dark, have you on and we can talk about whatever music, or we can all talk about. You can be on panel. We can talk about music, movies, whatever. I'd love to have Dave on too. Get you on here, get Arctic on here, get anybody on here that wanted to come up on panel and just talk and chat, and then chat with the chat, if that makes sense. Chat with the chat. Oh, I bet that's where I saw it. If you're talking about Molly Bish, yes, I watch Derek Levasseur. Yes, I love Detective Perspective. That might be where I saw it at, because I think I went to the channel to look to find something of his to watch that I haven't already watched. And doesn't he do another one with that redheaded chick, Stephanie something? I watch that occasionally. Just I like Derek Levasseur, but I'm not too fond of what's her name, Stephanie. I can see her. I can't think of her last name. I think she's got something going on with her ex-husband or something. I don't know, some kind of something. I tried when she first came out. By herself, I watched her some, but then it got to I was like, But I did watch. I think the last thing I watched was them together on whatever show or whatever channel they do together. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Crime Weekly. I was just looking for stuff on the West Memphis 3, and I saw it. I just searched West Memphis 3 on YouTube, and their show that they did on Crime Weekly, or I think it was Crime Weekly, or if they were together, talking about West Memphis 3. I watched that. Yes, yep. Derek was the winner on Big Brother 16. Yeah, and I did not know that until I went back and watched some of his older videos on his Detective Perspective channel. And he had a thing about that, and I was like, but I've never watched Big Brother, so I mean, maybe flipping through channels, but I don't like reality shows. About the only reality show I watch Deadliest Catch. I mean, I don't know if you consider that a reality show, but I just can't get into. Now I do sometimes watch was it the Amazing Race or whatever it's called. Sometimes I'll watch that, but yeah, I saw he was the winner on the. So was he doing that before he was in law enforcement, or was it the other way around? I haven't been watching him for a long time, but I kind of binge watched his channel when I found it. Thank you so much, Miss Jenny. Said thank you for the great live. Glad I found y'all. We are glad that you found us too. I hope I didn't scare you off. Usually, my little horse and pony gear, and I'm not fancy here, no big fancy studio or equipment, but I got enough or usually have enough to get the job done when my cell service and StreamYard cooperates with me. But thank you for joining us, Jenny, and I hope you come back most definitely. Yep. And like I said, hopefully weekend after next, we can, Friday or Saturday night, we can have a Southern Gal After Dark and talk about anything but true crime. More music, more movies, more actors, more anything, whatever y'all want to talk about. Paula says she loves, yes, Amazing Race and Survivor. I watched Survivor a little bit. My nephew used to love Survivor, so I would sit and watch it with him. And he was an undercover cop. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I've just kind of binge watched most of his channels, so I don't really know his history yet, but I knew that at some point he was law enforcement. And then when watching his older videos, he did the thing about being on Big Brother. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here before I keep babbling, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging in with me. Please share to get the information out about the missing that we shared, Missing Person Monday. Thanks for all the great conversation in chat. Please be sure to give a thumbs up before you leave. If you're not already subscribed, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Hold that thought. Paula said, what did you think of Crime Weekly's take on the West Memphis 3? I thought I liked it. I agreed with most of it. A little bit of a difference, but that might be something I'll have to go back and rewatch it. And then when we do the second video or live stream for West Memphis 3, we'll talk about that. Because I've watched it, it's been 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I've forgot some of what they said, but yeah. Yep. I promise, Miss Paula, I'm going to get to another West Memphis 3 discussion. I promise. I've got the, slideshow with the slide and the information and everything, because the second was just going to be talking about the family members, what's happened to them since, what happened to them during, some of their history of some of them, and a lot of them aren't even alive anymore. John Mark Byers has passed away, and his wife, the mother, has passed away. There's some others that have passed. I think Pam Hobbs is still alive. Terry Hobbs is still alive. I believe Michael Moore's parents are still alive, as far as I know. Michael Moore's parents kind of stayed out of the spotlight though during the whole thing. I can't really blame them. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. All right, so with that, I'm going to once again thank you, everybody that hung in, everybody who's watching replay, if you stuck around this long, or if you just stuck around, whoever just stuck around for the Missing Person Monday part. Thank you so much. Thursday, I will get it scheduled and get everything finalized. Hopefully everything will go as planned. I'll do a little bit of multitasking here for a second. And I'll try to get some kind of video of something, a short video. I'll try to get a member. I've got to start getting some members only videos done for my members. I love my members so much, and I just get caught up and never get anything for the members done. But I promise I will start doing better on that for all my members. But I love you guys. Thursday night, don't forget, or Replay Crew, either one. Until then, take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Take care of each other. Most important thing, I say this all the time, most important thing we can do is take care of our fellow human beings. And I will see you guys Thursday. Love ya. Bye.